Yo, YouTubers. Yo, YouTubers. How's it going out there? Yo, YouTubers, all my homies. How you doing out there? We got one viewer. How's it going? Hold on while I pull my hood. I mean, put my hood down. Hold on. Alright. Alright. It's Friday night. It's Friday night. Get close up to the microphone. I sit up to the microphone close because it sounds good. It sounds good. How's everybody doing out there? When I say everybody, I'm speaking in terms of people watching it back later on, you know, tomorrow or whenever. Let's see if we can get this light. So see this white light. Let's see what we can do. See, that's better, isn't it? I think. Blinded by the light. Okay, we got one viewer. Give everyone a chance to get back into... Come on, into the classroom. Come on, children, into the classroom. Bruce, the teacher, is about to start a lesson. How not to make YouTube videos. Okay. Right. Now, I hope you forgive me tonight. I'm okay. It's Friday night, right? Trust me, guys, it's been a week. I know I've just posted some videos of some drinks reviews, but they were from last week, right? Bit of a guilt trip, I know, like, but it's Friday night, and I haven't drank for a whole week, honestly, guys. And I thought I need a drink tonight, right, guys? And I'm gonna do a live stream. And I thought, let's go, let's have a drink as well as having a live stream. And this is what I'm drinking tonight. I'm on the St. Pierre, right? Well, trust me, folks. Trust me. I've got plenty of tablets for my ulcer, so I'm okay. I'm all gonna be all right. They're my medication for the ulcer, just in case anything goes wrong. And it's quite early, isn't it? Right? I thought let's get on YouTube live early, right? And let's just wing it. You know what I mean? And I've got some little things written down. I've got a load of ideas written down, right? So you've got to realise, you know, when you go live on YouTube or when you do a speech on YouTube, you've got to have something to say, you know what I mean? You've got to have something to say. So anyway, cheers to everyone. I apologise that I'm actually drinking. I do apologise, right? But there's too much of me dad in me, you know what I mean? Too much of me owl man in me. I've got to have a bevy, like. It is like me owl man, you know what I mean? I can't really do much about it, like. I've got to be honest. I think drinking to me is compulsory, but I'm long since past me troubled times, you know what I mean? And well, let's get on with it. Let's get on with it, right? And I thought the first thing I'd talk about tonight, right, guys, is one of the... I'm kind of angry about things, right? I thought, I don't know what to say, like, but I'll go for it, man. Let's go for, like, the most... I don't know what to say. Alright. Now, anyone interested, by the way, anyone interested, if you go on my channel, we've got two viewers. 2 viewers. Now there's only 1. Wow, it just said 2 viewers then, and then it went back to 1. So someone came on and then went off. Don't know what that's about. But yeah, folks, cheers to everyone. Right? And let's just put it this way. This could very easily be alcohol free. Do you understand? It's like I drink beer because I like the taste of it, right? But anyway, let's get on with it. And I thought to talk about some crazy things tonight, guys. It's just, I don't know, wear my heart on my sleeve. Talk about my personal life and things like that, and just clarify things. And you know what's funny, right, guys? I always feel like I'm being spied upon and watched and everything all day and that, like, right. So what I do is I think to myself, well, people are going to spy on me. I might as well tell them whatever it is they want to know, isn't it? You know what I mean? I'll talk about anything. There's a comment section on my channel, right? For any people who doubt me, any people who don't like me, or, you know, they don't actually like Bruce, you know, roller coaster ride. There's a comment section below on these videos, and anyone can ask any questions. And I'm prepared to talk about these things openly, you know, just in case anyone's got any, you know. I'm talking about my old critics, guys. My critics go back a long way, like, so. It's a crazy world. Okay, but there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about. I wrote some notes down. Oh, all right, man. First thing I want to talk about. First thing I want to clarify, right, guys. The first thing I want to clarify is one of the biggest problems in my life. One of my biggest problems in life. Now, I have discussed these things on previous videos, right, folks? There's older videos on my channel. It's if you go back into my channel and check the videos, there's a series of videos called Targeted Individual, right? And I kind of go into the reasons why I went anti-establishment or became a punk rocker or whatever, you know, like the roots of everything, because I was a good kid in school, right? Now, you know, in school, if we're naughty kids in school, you know, if we're naughty in school and the teachers are always giving us the cane, or we're always getting in trouble and all that kind of stuff, then there's something wrong with us, isn't there? You know what I mean? We're kind of we call it problem child, don't we? You know, problem child. I was a good kid. In my middle school especially, the teachers loved me. I wasn't a swat, you know what I mean? And all the teachers liked me. I didn't have any problems. I actually loved my middle school. Conway Middle School in Birkenhead. It was a fantastic place to go to school, you know. It was like a great school. Everyone loved it. We all loved it. All the pupils in that school loved it, right? So I'm trying to get across to people that I was never in school like acting up like a demon or something, you know what I mean? Playing up and getting in trouble with the teachers all the time and everything. On the contrary, I was quite a good kid. I did my work and all that, right? But being kind of Asperger's or whatever it is, right, it kind of made things difficult for me in the education sense, right? But I never knew I had Asperger's back then. I didn't know. Alright, I'm just going to have a berry, right? Now, I'm doing this because I want to talk openly, guys. I want to really, really, you know, I want to try and open up and talk about things. And depend on if anyone joins us from any other countries or whatever, like, you know, I mean, if anyone joins in and that, like there's no one in the chat. Oh, what are we on now? We've still got one viewer, right? If that viewer is someone I know, if you want to remain anonymous, it's cool. If it's someone I know, speak, tell me who you are. It's, you know, I'll make you welcome and tell everyone, you know, that we're, hey, let's go. If you want to remain anonymous, it's cool. Okay, so I thought I'd try and I want to explain, right? I have done this before on a previous speech, but I want to explain why my life was a pain in the ass, right? And things didn't go according to plan, like they should have been. I should have been playing in goal. I should have been the goalkeeper for Liverpool Football Club. When, you know, when Bruce Grobbelaar was the goalkeeper, that was meant to be my time. Bruce Grobbelaar. It should have been me. Right. So I've got to begin. I'm going to try and do this rundown of my life, right? I want to try and like clarify why I'm such a pain in the ass, right? I'm not a pain in the ass to other people, but it seems like I'm being awkward or I'm doing something bad or something. I'm like, I'm a good kid. Ask the teachers, you know, in school, and you check out in middle school, whatever. If you were a bad kid in school, the teachers all know, don't they? You know what I mean? Saying, oh, he was naughty, he never did anything. I did all my work and everything. I was actually good, like. But anyway, here's where the problem starts, right, folks? Here's where my personal problem starts, right? And here's the weird thing, right? I wrote down some, you know, look at all this stuff, look. See, this is the way I do it. I write a load of ideas down, look. And then I have this piece of paper in front of me, and I say, and then I'll know what to talk about, you know what I mean? And say, well, all right, we'll talk about that, we'll talk about this. Now, this is the weird thing, right? The difference between me and my other siblings, right? I've got 2 sisters and a brother, right? And I was always the kind of black sheep of the family, basically. I was the kid that kind of went out. And, I don't know, I was nicking things. I was getting into trouble, doing little things here and there. I was the black sheep, right, basically. I think I was anyway. I don't know if anyone wants to intervene and correct me on that. It's up to yourselves, right? But, you know, amongst me, the siblings, I was kind of the naughtiest, right? And if I'm naughty, mate, then man, it's a bit mad. Like, you know, it's like, say, like if I went into jail and, you know, we were all in the cells talking about what crimes we've committed and that, like, the other prisoners would be looking at me and just be like, lightweight, State of Bruce, lightweight. Do you know what I mean? They'd actually take the piss out of me for being so too good, too nice. Do you know what I mean? I'm actually telling the truth, you know. But anyway, there's sort of differences between me and my siblings, right? Now, the first big mad major difference between me and my siblings, that, like, you know, we all have the same problems, don't we? Hold on, I'll just check my sound is going through. I think you can hear me, can't you? Yeah, my sound's coming through, isn't it? Just checking the mic auxiliary. Okay, you know, I want to get personal. I want to talk about things, you know what I mean? I want people to understand the character, you know, me character and that, like. And the first big major factor, right, guys, is when I was born as a child, right, when I was a baby. Now, my mum only told my mother, oh no, don't say the M word, mother, you know what I mean? My mum, my mum. She only told me this a few years back, right? You know, well, you know, not long before she passed on, right? And she only told me this, like, you know, later years, right? You know, when your mum tells you something you didn't know all your life. No one said nothing, like, until, like, I was about 50 years old or something. I don't know. I can't remember. No, I must have been about 40, maybe 40 or something when my mum told me this, right? And I do talk about it on earlier videos. But she told me that when I was a baby, right, you know, in hospital with, you know, my mum had just given birth and that. And when my arm man went to see my mum in the hospital, I don't know whether it was the day after or a couple of days after, but I'm a newborn baby still in hospital, right? And I'm in the little, you know, the little crib in the room or whatever. Right, and my old man was a chain smoker. You've got to understand, he'd been smoking since he was like 12 years old or something, right? And he was a heavy smoker. He was a chain smoker, right? And this has got, you know, I'm not criticising my dad in any way. I'm criticising the control freaks that cause this kind of thing, right? I want people's opinions. You see, I want people's opinions. I want to know what people think about this. If they can press, you know, because if you're using an app on a phone or an app on a TV, you can't. Most people don't want to comment, do they? You know what you want to say? In the comments section is very important, isn't it? On videos, right? On YouTube videos, anyway, right? But anyway, if you pictured the scene, I'm a newborn baby, right? I was about a day old. I was born on the 4th of November, right? 1964, right? The 4th of November, 1964. Not the 6th of November, right? The 4th of November, right? Let's get that clear, because once upon a time, someone once accused me, I don't know why, I told someone it was my birthday in a couple of weeks, and he went, yeah, you were born on the 6th, weren't you? And I was like, no, I was born on the 4th. So where are you getting that from? And the guy who said that to me is a kind of like, probably a devil worshipper himself, if you know what I mean. You'll understand what I'm saying a bit later as I add this up, like. But you know the way old people who are into Satanism and occultism and stuff like that, they're always trying to pass the buckskin, aren't they, you know what I mean? And pretend it's not them. I can't understand this. It says concurrent viewers 1, now it's saying 2, and it's up and down like a yo-yo. Pardon me. Anyway, you know when you become an adult years later and someone's saying, you were born on the 6th, and you weren't actually born on the 6th, you're born on the 4th. Number 4, you know. 4. Number 4. Right. So I was born on the 4th of November 1964, right? And when I was a newborn baby, my old man went to see me mum in the hospital, right? As they do, as dads do, go to see the wife and the baby in a hospital, right? Now, this didn't happen to me older brother, and it didn't happen to my older sister, right? Now, my other sister is younger than me, so she was afterwards, right? So, and I assume this didn't happen to my younger sister as well, right? But this is the difference between me and my siblings. This is the reason why I'm different to my siblings, right? My old man sits down in this hospital room, and they had a room to themselves where there's not loads, not a ward, it was a room, right? The place was called Grange Mount Hospital in Birkenhead. If anyone wants to check that out, it used to be called Grange Mount in Grange Road West. And you know, you go up that corner up Grange Road West towards Oxton, and you turn on the curve and you go uphill, and there used to be a hospital there. It was called Grange Mount. That's where I was born, right? There's pictures of it on YouTube and stuff like that. Well, not on YouTube, I don't know about YouTube, but you know, on the internet if you check it out, right? And you know, I'm a newborn baby in my crib, right? And my old man comes to see me mum, and this is the spin, right? My old man, being a chain smoker, right? He attempted to have a sly cigarette in the room where my mum was with the baby, right? With me, like, right? With the baby, with me, like. The baby. And so he had a packet of cigarettes on him, right, and a box of matches, right? Now, it's very irresponsible. Don't anyone take this as though I'm criticising my old man or whatever, you know what I mean? This is not like any kind of attack on my old man. There's no regrets, but it is a bit mad, right? You've got to realise how crazy this is. He's sitting down, he's talking to me mum, she's sitting in a bed, and I'm next to her, right, in this thing, like. So he gets a cigarette out, right, and my mum says, oh, don't be smoking in here, you know what I mean? It's not right, you know what I mean? In a hospital room, right, guys. And my dad says, it's only a quick one, you know what I mean? I'll just have a quick smoke, no one will know, you know what I mean? Right? So he lights a cigarette. Now, I don't know what people understand about, you know, dragons and stuff like that. You know, dragons. Julie's on. Yo, Bruce. Yo, Jules. Have you just joined us, Jules? I'm just about to tell a story about, I don't know if you know about this, but, you know, something my mum told me about when I was a baby in the hospital. Right. So anyway, my dad sits in my old man, right, just joined, right. Okay, I'll recap you, right, Jewel. I'm just getting up to the point where, like, that's why I took a little bit of time, because I was waiting for you to join, because I don't know if you know about this anyway. But my old man, right, you know when you go to see, you know when my dad went to see my mum in hospital and I'd just been born, right, Jewel, that's what I'm talking about, right. So we could be talking about, it could be bonfire night, it could be the 5th of November, it could be the 6th of November, it could be the 7th of November, I don't know the actual date, right? But I'd just been born, I was a baby, right? And my old man sits down, he's talking to my mum, and he says, I'll have a slice ciggy in here. Well, my mum was in a single room, with, it wasn't like a ward. There was just me, my mum in this room, right? And my mum told me this when I was in my 40s. Didn't know until I was a fully grown adult, like. And she said, my old man comes into the room, right? Pictured the scene. It's a hospital in the fair. You know what hospitals are like? The sterile atmosphere and the you know what I mean, the cleanliness and everything. And my old man thinks he can have a sly cigarette in the room with me mum, right? So my mum's like, "Oh, you don't want to do that, do you? You don't want to all be lighting a cigarette." And my dad says, "No one's gonna know, just have a sly smoke, because it's very addictive, isn't it? Tobacco, you know what I mean?" So he lights a cigarette anyway. He goes for it. He takes the chance, right? He wants to light a cigarette. Now, do you understand dragons and the fire-breathing dragon and all these things about like dragons and Puff the Magic Dragon or whatever? Like, you know what I mean? I've got loads of things to talk about on those scores, right? But a drag on, right? When you drag a cigarette, you drag on, don't you? You go. Do you understand the word dragon, where it comes from? Dragon on, like. Right. And then you got drag queens, haven't you? Like dragon on, that kind of thing, right? So it's the same. I've tied all this stuff to the same source, right, guys? What we call a dragon, right? Or the beast and the dragon, you know what I mean, right? But anyway, my dad lights a cigarette. Right, he lights a cigarette in a hospital room with a newborn baby and a mother who's just given birth. Right, he lights a cigarette. He's like, and when you put a match back in the matchbox, when you put the match out, you go, or blow the match out, and you put it back in the matchbox, kind of thing, right? And he went to put the matchstick back in the matchbox, right? And it set the whole box of matches alight. Right. So you can imagine the scene in a hospital room. A whole box of matches goes bursts into flames, right? Because he's trying to have a sly cigarette, so he's trying to do it secretly, right? The whole matchbox bursts into flames. And you can imagine the smell in the room and all that, right? Now, I'm a newborn baby, right? I'm a newborn baby. You've got to picture the scene. You've got to see it from my perspective, from my innocent, childish perspective, right? This entire box of matches on fire in the room. The smell of sulphur, the stinky smell of matchsticks. I don't know. I've only just arrived, do you know what I mean? It was probably bonfire night as well. This is what's like really irritating about the whole thing. It was probably it was either the 5th or the 6th anyway, right? And my mum goes mad. Obviously my mum goes, "What are you doing? What do you do that for?" And he's like, "Whoa." And then a nurse came in, like, she actually sussed it out and walked into the room, and she's like, "What are you doing? What are you thinking of?" To me dad. She actually bollocked me dad. She's like, "What are you thinking of? Trying to light a cigarette in a room with a newborn baby? What is getting into you there, man?" Right? And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. And he puts the matches out and everything, you know what I mean, right? But it's too late, isn't it? It's too late for me, isn't it? I don't stand a chance there, do I? I've got this, like, you got to think of fire as a living entity, as a demon or whatever, you know what I mean? Fire is like a living thing. People don't realise that. It's kind of it's an entity. It's got its own, like, soul. So, in my opinion, right, I didn't stand a chance there, did I? You know what I mean? I was like, how many people watching this, maybe now or later on? We've got 4 viewers. Wow, we might be onto a world record tonight. We might get up to 7 live viewers. How many kids out there? How many babies? Because I know I was the only one out of me siblings. My sister's watching now, like, right? I was the only one out of all, like, my siblings that had to deal with a box of matches going on fire in my room, you know what I mean, as a baby, like. Now, How many people on this planet, even on this planet worldwide, how many, like some things are coincidental, we can all say, like, oh wow, that happened to me as well. Well, how many people on planet Earth can possibly say, like, oh wow, that's a coincidence, that happened to me as well? There's no one on this. I mean, I'm trying not to swear, you know what I mean, because it's kind of infuriating thinking about it. There's no one on God's earth, is there, that would have to deal with a box of matches going on fire in their room in a hospital when they've only just arrived on earth, is there, you know what I mean? So my mum went bonkers. She's like, what are you thinking of? What were you thinking trying to light a cigarette in a room with a baby? And the nurse is bollocking me dad from the other direction, going, what are you thinking? Why did you even try and light a cigarette in a hospital room? Right? Yeah, the smell of burnt matches, they are great for hiding smelly poo in the bathroom. Oh man, the worst than smelly poo. The worst, the smell of burning matches and sulphur to me is worse than smelly poo. Do you know what I mean? Because poo's natural, isn't it? You know what I mean? Poo's natural, isn't it? Have you ever been, remember in school, if someone lit a matchstick in school, just one matchstick. If someone lights one matchstick in school or a hospital, any of them environments, seriously, they cover the poo up. Ooh. Oh. I'd rather be shit than a matchstick, you know what I mean? That's all I know. Human excrements, food digested and shit out, like. I'd rather be shit than a matchstick. It's a man-made. Oh, matches, right. Now, Jules, you know the nickname for matches? You know the song, the lights up your lucifers and and smile, smile, smile. Years ago, they used to call matchsticks lucifers. Do you understand? Do you see where I'm coming from, right? Now, I'm the only kid in my family, probably the only kid on planet Earth, probably the only child on planet Earth that had to deal with such a circumstance, right? So to me, right, do you remember when you used to burn a match? Yeah, I used to do that, yeah. So it wouldn't burn completely, yeah. And then put it on me. Yeah, I remember doing that, like. Alright, Bruce lad, Ian Saxon. Yo, Ian Saxon has just joined us. Alright, Bruce lad. Alright, Ian lad. Alright, Saxo lad. Have a drink with me. Join me. Someone sit with me and drink. Then put it on a hand. Yeah, I used to put it on my thumb. Like that part of my thumb there. Like there. And then it split them in two. And it separates into two fine, like, black lines, didn't it, really? But, does that not, what I'm saying, in principle, in the terms of metaphysics and physics and chemistry and everything, it's like, there's a proverbial dragon in the room, isn't there? You know what I mean? From the moment I was born, within a couple of days, I've been running from that dragon for the rest of my life, basically. I'm like Rain Man, yeah, we're all on the spectrum, innit, Jules? Rain Man. Hey, when you say you remember everything, you didn't remember... Remember when I told you about when we wore the skateboard helmets and we were on that thing in Cathcart on the things go, remember on the wheels and that, on the string and that, on the rope? That was like a memory you forgot, wasn't it, Jules? The skateboard helmet. People watching, I don't want to talk about these private things, you see, Jules, because anyone watching, they go like, what are they talking about? What's Bruce talking about? I'm having a Northern Monk Bruce join in. Is right, man. Wait, cheers, man. This is what I'm on, mate. I'm on that, mate. Belgian blonde. Northern Monk is right. Go ahead. Cheers. Welcome to the show. I've got tons of things to talk about tonight, guys, right? But I wanted people's opinions right now. How bad is that, right? I'm not talking, like I say, I couldn't attack my arm man to save my life in a kind of vicious way or critical way, you know what I mean? In that sense, like, about things in the past, but can you understand my perspective? There's a proverbial dragon in the room, like, within days of me being born, right? Now, this is the weird thing, right? I'm not sure of the date. What's that? Doon the tune for a bottle of Broon and a carry bag of Tudor. What's that mean, Jules? I've never heard that one before. Doon the tune for a bottle of Broon. Why, man? Let's see tonight. I mean, the last few live streams, I haven't been drinking enough, and you know what I mean? I haven't had a drink for a week, guys. It's honestly, I'm quite controlled. I'm on a diet basically, and I'm okay. Look, I've got my ulcer. I've got my ulcer sorted proper. Like, I've got the medication and everything, so my ulcer's okay. No risk of a perforated ulcer tonight, folks. Bruce, all men are pyromaniacs, especially teenagers. I know. Firebugs, Jewel, right? Firebugs. I was never a firebug myself, like. Do you know when I go camping, I hardly ever, like, I've only lit one fire camping. I can actually show it to you tonight on video. I'll actually show you a video of me lighting my first fire. You know when I went camping? You know, like what's his name? Tom Hanks in Castaway. And he goes, I have lit fire. Like, I did a sacred fire when I went camping. You know, the first camping trip on my own. I did light a fire. It's like a sacred act, if you know what I mean, right? Have you lit a fart? I would never risk. Jules, come on. I would never risk lighting my own farts, right? I don't want to start a nuclear Armageddon, do I? Come on. Do you know what I mean? Let's face it. If I try, like, I mean, ordinary people might light the farts, right? And it might just go. I don't want to risk nuclear Armageddon, do I? You know what I mean? Do you know, it's not fair on people, is it? It wouldn't be fair. It'd be like, you know, the scene in Terminator 2 with the kids in the playground, the nuclear war and that, and she's on the fence going, wow, and she's melting and everything. It'd be like that, man. Everyone would be like this, because I've lit a fart, you know what I mean? Nuclear flatulence. I've never risked, ever in my life, risked lighting a fart. Ever. Has anyone watching ever lit one of the farts? Leo, I asked my Mrs. earlier if she's ever done a massive wet fart. She hasn't spoken to me since. Massive wet fart. Oh, man. Women don't fart, man. Come on, Ian. You know the score. Come on. Women don't fart. You're a gentleman. Be a women don't fart. You know what? You know, when women fart, you know, if you're in a public place and a woman farts, the men's meant to go, oops, sorry, couldn't help that. You know what I mean? No, if you're standing with your wife in the supermarket and she farts, you've got to be a knight in shining armor and go, oops, must have been the beans I ate last night. Or I must have had too many mushy peas. Women don't fart, man. There's no such thing. You know, we fart. Men fart. Women don't fart. Bruce, didn't Dad punch someone in the pub for farting in front of Mum? No, I don't know about that. He slapped he slapped some man's face for staring at me mum. Apparently. He went up to some guy and just slapped him across the face and he went, "Stop looking at my wife. Stop flipping looking at my flipping wife or flipping slap you." He done something like that, like. Think about imagine slapping a guy just for looking at your missus, man. It's often said, but it's funny, like. He's probably that, whoever that dude was he slapped has probably been trying to destroy every one of us ever since, hasn't he? You know what I mean? Like some kind of vendetta or something, like. Remember our fuck? No, I don't remember any of that, Jules. What are you talking about? I'm on YouTube. Fit chicks could be trying to watch me now. I'm trying to keep up appearances. Alright, well back to me old man lighting a box of matches, right? Do you understand the smoke, the fire, the entity, the dragon in the room? The proverbial dragon in the room. I didn't really stand much of a chance there, did I? You know what I mean? A newborn baby having to deal with the smell of sulphurous matches. Not just one match. Supposing he just lit one match and smoked a ciggy. Okay, there's cigarette smoke to deal with, right? I'm already inhaling side stream woodbines, right? At age 2 days old, right? And the matchsticks. One matchstick is bad enough in a hospital, isn't it, right? This was a whole box of matches went on fire. Have you ever lit a whole box of matches and seen what it looks like? It goes, you know, on fire. So I had to deal with the elements, didn't I? I've been dealing with them elements ever since. That's why I go mad nowadays. Like one of my friends, he called here recently, and that, like, and he's immediately started smoking in my living room, you know what I mean? We used to light the full box with one match and call it a genie. Exactly. There you go. You just said the word genie, man. That's it. A genie in the room, right? Right. Now, all a genie is, right? You know the word genius? You know people say, I'm a genius. All a genius is someone who is using... He might not be intelligent. He might not be clever. But he's got a genie in the lamp helping him. Right. Which, in my opinion, a genie is a kind of demon, isn't it? Really, or, you know, it's a kind of secret entity, isn't it? You know, like a ghoul or whatever, like. But when people think they are actually a genius, it's genie-us, isn't it? Like, supposing I'm saying I am a genius, right? I'm a genius. Well, I've got me genie telling me what to say and what to do, right? Remember, the genie goes like, your wish is my command. Everything you ask for, I will give, right? So some guy walks around and he's got a genie helping him out. So if you see it from his perspective, it's the genie and me, which is genius, isn't it? The genius. You know, when people say, I'm a genius. Oh, man, I mean, pardon me French, guys, I'm going to swear, I fucking hate hearing that, you know what I mean? When people think they're a genius, you know what I mean? It's like ghostwriting or something, isn't it? It's like using a spirit to help you out. Do you know what I mean? So there's nothing personal, really. It's like, supposing I was psychic and I was doing an exam in university or something, right? But I had a friend outside with ESP telling me all the answers. Do you know what I mean? That's what a genie is to me. It's someone who's been given all the knowledge from a secret source, and you're doing a deal with it, you know. It's like a deal, isn't it? You're doing a deal with something, an entity, and it wants something back, doesn't it, you know? Remember that when you pretended Elvis was writing, yeah? When I was ghostwriting Elvis. Why do I have to ghostwrite Elvis when I really... You all know, well, you should know. I got a bit of news for you, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want people to know about this. I've been trying to keep it a secret for a long time. Ladies and gentlemen, I got a secret for you. I am actually Yeah, I don't want too many people to find out. You know, I've been trying to keep it a secret. I'm the king of rock and roll. I'm Elvis Presley. Yeah. I did Elvis. I pretended Elvis was ghostwriting through me, like when I was younger, like. Oh man, I used to do loads of stupid things when I was younger, didn't I? Like, you know. But anyway, so you can see. Does anyone? I mean, I don't know about like right now on the live stream. You know, I'm not expecting thousands of answers and that, like, but can anyone understand that, like, elementally speaking or metaphysically speaking? It's a way to be like 2 days old or whatever it was, right? And all of a sudden there's this fireball in my room, right? It kind of gave me a shitty start in life, really, without me realising it, you know what I mean? It wasn't a very good start, is it? You know, let's just say it's like being cursed almost, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's like being damned because, like, there's been I mean, how many newborn babies out there? How many? I bet there's not a single newborn baby on earth that's had to deal with that other than me. Do you know what I mean? Right, so it would have been a couple of days old, wouldn't I, right? Now think about this. I would have been a couple of days old. I think it was more than likely it was on the 6th of November when that happened, probably the day after bonfire night, you know what I mean? I don't know. Right, I know my mum went mad. She told me, I went mad. I was like, oh man, because my mum was pissed off about it, you see, right? The nurse went mad. And he was like, okay, I'm flipping sorry, I didn't realise, you know what I mean? But like, what on earth gets into a man and makes him want to light a cigarette in a hospital room, man? Why, you know, I know they're addictive. I know they make, you know, you want people need to smoke and smoke and smoke. I understand that. When you're in a hospital room with a baby, what is that powerful enough to make a man want to smoke a cigarette in the room with his child? I don't get it, like, you know what I mean? Why didn't he just come over to the cot and flick some ash on my head while he was at it? You know, just like... Why didn't he give me a ciggy while he was at it, like... Right, so you can understand in the metaphysical sense, right, or the spiritual sense. That was too funny, so anything was possible. Exactly, you know what I mean? He can't help it, can he? Right, the addiction is the problem, isn't it? You know what they call a monkey on the back? You know the term a monkey on the back? It means you've got an addiction, right? A monkey on the back, right? I ain't got no addictions, I'll be honest. I mean, I'm addicted to one thing, right? Playing guitars, I suppose. And that's not even addictive to me, you know what I mean? That's something I'd say... If ever I practice a religion in my life, right? Because believing in God is not religion to me, right, folks? It's nothing to do with religion. That's believing in God or knowing about God is fact. It's got nothing to do with religion to me, right? But the most religious thing I do in my life is playing a guitar. Do you know what I mean? It's like a kind of ritual, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's always been there and that kind of stuff. I'm most familiar with it, like. Do you know what? I might have to get... I might have to go for a pedal, like. I think I'm gonna have to go for a pit. I'm on a live stream, like I've drunk some beers and think. No, hold on. Psst. That's all I know. Well, it doesn't make a difference, does it? I just pee myself. Nah, I'm only joking. Right, now here's the strangest bit, right? Here's the weird bit, right? I'm born on the 4th. My birthday is the 4th of November, right, folks? Right? Now, years later, right, this is the weird part. I was in Liverpool in the rehearsal room, right, and talking to one of my friends who played guitar, right, and he said, tap running, drip, drip, drip. Don't you? I'll wee myself, honest. Oh, no. Years later, in me like adult years, when I was in Liverpool and I used to still sing with bands and stuff like that, and meet people, other musicians, and talk to bellends and knobheads who all wanted to be rock stars when I didn't, like I was a punk rocker. No one used to hang around with bellends who all thought they were rock stars and that, like. Not all of them, some of them were good musicians, right? The bellends who really fancy themselves, you know what I mean? But anyway, one of these bellends, one of the lads who I used to sing with or whatever, like, I say to him, like, right, oh yeah, it's my birthday next week, right? This was about, I can't remember what year it was, but I was in, I was still going over to Liverpool where the rehearsal rooms were, like. And this lad looks at me and he goes, yeah, you were born on the 6th, weren't you? Right. Now, do you understand what I'm saying, right? He for some strange reason, good name for a band indeed, but for some strange reason, this lad, who I used to know, was convinced I was born on the 6th of November, right? Right? He goes, you were born on the 6th, weren't you? And it's like he was trying to throw something at me, you know what I mean? And this guy is a devil worshipper. This is the irony of it. He was into tarot cards. You know the way tarot cards always have a devil card in there and all that shit? You know, tarot cards, man. He was heavily into tarot cards, the bell end I'm talking about. I hope he's watching, by the way. I hope he's spying right now, because, you know, the bell end. If he knows God or he knows Jesus, he'd know I was born on the 4th of November, wouldn't he? You know what I mean? If he wants to be a prat and get it wrong and make a show of himself, false prophet, isn't he? You know what I mean? If you don't even know someone's birthday, you're a false prophet, aren't you, right? If you're accusing someone, right? Now, think about this. You know numerology, right, guys? You know numerology, right? Let's get this piece of paper ready. I've got a blank piece of paper. But right, anyway, I'll just write it down, right? Now, so, here's my official birthday, right? Right. Think about, you know, numerology. Loads of these people are knobheads about numerology. They go on about numerology and loads of things seem to make it like, right? So if you imagine that, right? There's my official birthday there, right? 4/11/64, right? Official birthday, 4/11/64, right? So in numerology terms, there's nothing really kind of thought-provoking or dodgy in it, is there really? You know what I mean, right? Well, let's just suppose we change that, right? Just supposing the bell end in question was trying to pass the buckskin, right? Right, now, if you're a numerologist, right, and you see that instead, right, you know, numerologists, they've got this mad obsession. They go like, oh, this number, that, they don't really add it all, right? So look, 6 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6, right? So, the number 4 and the 2 1s is 6. And then the other 2 6s, and what does that make? 666, doesn't it, right? Do you see what I'm saying, right? Right. Now, if that was just like this, the proper number, that wouldn't do anything, would it? It'd be like, you know, the 4 and the 2 1s would be 6, but there'd be a number 4 there instead. It'd just be like 4/11. It'd just be the usual, like, my birthday, wouldn't it? Like, right. Because this guy actually says, yeah, you were born on the 6th, weren't you, Bruce? And I go, and I'm looking at him going, if you don't mind, I was born on the 4th, you know what I mean? So did you see what he was trying to do? He was trying to join these dots here, man. And he must have told other people that I'd been born on the 6th of November. Right. Now, you know what the devil does all along, don't you? Or anyone involved with the devil. They're always passing the fucking buckskin, aren't they? They're always trying to make someone else seem like they're the guilty party so they don't get fucking... No one suspects them of being Dracula or whatever the bell end was like, you know what I mean? Count Duckula or something like. Count Duckula. Nanny poos. Right. So did you see where he's trying to pass the buckskin there? Do you understand that? He actually said it to me face. He went, yeah, you were born on the 6th, weren't you? I was like, no. Where'd you get that from, like? You know what I mean? I had to sort of stop him in his tracks and say, what are you talking about there, lad? He's the guy with all the tarot cards. He's the guy that thinks he's like, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? He's passing the buckskin, isn't he, right? And I'm born on the 4th, not the 6th, right? But, do you understand the confusion say me dad lit this like box of matches in my room, and it could have been on the 6th, couldn't it, or something like. Do you see what I'm saying? There could have been this like confusion because of the metaphysical element of fire being in my room when I'm a baby. Remember, I didn't like get up out my cot and go, hey, let's have a ciggy, oh, let's have a smoke, or, you know, like, hey, mum, dad, can I have a Havana cigar? You know what I mean? It's not like something newborn babies do, is it? Like, you know what I mean? Lighting fires and stuff. So anyway, does that explain that maybe someone might have the wires crossed? You know, okay, 4 and 1 equals 5, and then 6 and 5. So then add them together, which makes 10, which is what you get when you then add the 6 and the 4. This is... Yeah, let's do this. Countdown. Do you see where he's passing the buckskin? Do you realise that, like, when he said that to me, like, he's like actually he's trying to insinuate, right? And look at it. What do you mean? Look at 4 plus 1 equals 5, and then 6 minus 1 equals 5. So then add up together, which makes 10, which is what you get. I honestly, Julie, it's above my head at the moment. Like, it's above my head. So how many kids out there, man? How many kids out there, male or female, have had to experience a box of matches in their bedroom when they've just been born, like? Right. So I've been cracking up lately because one of my friends has returned into my world recently, right? And he's been having some problems and stuff, right? And man, he can't sit in my space without like lighting cigarettes or spliffs or whatever. And I'm trying to get her across to him, you know what I'm saying? It's not like an anti-smoker thing. It's not like, I actually don't care about the smell of cigarettes and smoke and all that, but you know, the fact that something's on fire in my room, I've got this thing about it, right? So that's the first thing I just wanted to clear up, and clarify, like. Just wanted to talk about that. Did you actually know about that, Jewel? Did you actually know about the box of matches scandal? My mum only told me when I was like, what year? You know, I was still living at home with my mum on our own kind of thing. When I was still there, it was just me and my mum. That was when she told me about it, like. Well, you know, I think my dad was still around, I'm not sure, like, and I was thinking, Dad explained everything to me, you know, and I thought, hold on, I feel like I'm being pursued by some kind of, you know, Puff the Magic Dragon lives by the sea. I always felt like I was being pursued by some kind of, like, metaphysical entity, like, and that kind of explains it, doesn't it? The thing is, it's like one of them circumstances that you can't actually know about it unless it's happened to you, you know what I mean? You think, oh, man. It's just nothing I can compare it to. Who can I compare? Wow, we've got 5 viewers tonight, folks. There's 5 on live at the moment. Right. So I'm just clarifying now. I want people to know about that before because I hate ashtrays. I hate ciggy stumps. I hate, you know what I mean? The whole medium of, I hate matchsticks. I mean, I don't think I've ever had a box of matches in this flat since I've lived here. You know what I mean? Lucifer's matches. Right. The torch of Lucifer, isn't it? You know, it's like a false torch, isn't it? It's not like a star or something, is it? It's like a smelly, stinky, sulphurous, stinky, smelly dragon, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? I'll drink on that. Right? Okay. Now, my second point in childhood, right? Right. What's that? A Zippo lighter smells nice when it's lit, though. Hey, you know, there's actually people who use Zippo lighters, right? That's a fascinating insight, that, right? Don't get me wrong, mate. I do smoke a bit of weed from time to time, but I don't use tobacco. You know, people like spliffs and you know what they call spliffs and joints and stuff. I'm totally anti-tobacco. You know what I mean? I don't think. I've actually tried smoking it myself, right, guys? I've smoked it for a while to suss it out and try and work out what the appeal was. You know what I mean? And I kicked it, like, you know, actually sussed out. If anyone's a smoker, by the way, you know, if anyone watches this and you're actually a tobacco smoker, right, and you don't know how to stop, put a message below this video when I post it, and I'll do the video about how to stop smoking tobacco. I've got an amazing. It's just like you can't fail. You can't fail. It will help anyone to stop smoking tobacco immediately. I'm telling you, it's a piece of piss. I've sussed it out. I had to smoke it myself to find out how to do it, like, you know what I mean? But like I was saying before, Zippo lighters, right? I heard a few years back, well, a good few years ago, when I used to smoke weed amongst like people and that in parties and things, right? Someone told me that people use Zippo lighters when they smoke weed because they get high off the fumes as well, which is crazy, isn't it? You know, they sort of infuse the fumes of the lighter with the smoke. Whatever turns you on in it, man. Get your bongs and your buckets and your pipes and, you know, everyone. They shouldn't even be, you know, companies that sell what they call them, like, you know, rolling papers, Rizzlers and stuff like that. How many trees in the rainforest or whatever are being knocked down for them papers, man? Whereas you can have a wooden pipe, can't you? Look, man. Where's my pipe here? I'll show you. I'll show you on camera my veteran pipe, right? Let's stand up a sec. It's here, right? Here we go, man. Look at that. There you go, there's my... Look at that, man. There's the bowl there, like, look at that, man. There's like... The bowl in this pipe, I've had it since 1991. If anyone starts, like, you know, just knock them out with it, like. I don't really do it much, you know what I mean? It's not like a big deal to me these days, you know what I mean? But I have been a heavy duty pothead, you know what I mean? If things were different these days and it wasn't deemed as a crime, I'd probably be smoking on camera. I'd be probably sitting here now, right, with a bong in my hand, going and getting chonged out on camera and that, like, with no shame. But it's against the law. I'm not supposed to do it. It's not allowed, is it? If the Queen's policemen and soldiers are allowed to do it and I'm not, like, well, that's the law, innit? Right. Okay. Need leather lungs to take a draw out of that, man. Oh, man. I'm super... What's it? Iron lung. Tokatron. You know in what's it called? Transformers and stuff. You know what I mean? You have all these, like... I'm Tokatron. You know, Tokatron. I can go... like, you know... hold it in for 5 days and that, like, you know what I mean? Because I'm a tobacco-free smoker, you know what I mean? You know, in the weed world, like, Tokatron. Listen, folks, I'm going to have to take a break, right? Talk amongst yourselves in the chat, right? I'll be interested to see what you say to each other. I've just got to go for a quick piddle, right, folks? Yeah, lungs like an old woman's teapot. Hold on, folks. Right. I'm back. I didn't follow through. Lungs like a VR. Here we go. While I was out, like, lungs like a step-toes toilet. Lungs like a petrified haggis sack. Hey there, I am a smoker and I don't want to stop because I love it. Yeah, if you don't mind. Hey there, it's okay, you know. Thing is, right, plus everyone says if you quit, you will live longer and feel healthier, right? But could get run down by... No, that's true, Ava, right? Do you know what? If it's not a problem for you, right? If it's not a problem for you, right? Don't worry about it. I'm talking to guys, right, who, like, you know, when we smoke, we have a chong of weed and that, like, they insist on mixing tobacco with the weed and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, guys, what are you doing? You need to wake up, right? Well, here's a fascinating fact, right? Cigarette, right? You know the word cigarette, right, Ava, right? What does cigarette, enjoy life, and the tab, Ava? Ian says enjoy life and the tab. Yeah, right. Okay, here's my argument, right? Here's my argument. I'm talking about dudes, right? You see, mainly. I'm talking about, you know, when I'm in the space and I've got men with me and what's supposed to be like a circle of like a council or something. I'm against them lighting up in my space. You know what I mean? Right. But this is the point they don't realise. What's a cigar? Right, a cigar. What's a cigar? A cigar is like, you know, like Arnie Schwarzenegger. Arnie Schwarzenegger's a keep fit fanatic, isn't he, right? He's a muscle man, isn't he? He's a bodybuilder. He's a keep fit fanatic. But he still smokes cigars, doesn't he? Right. Okay. Cigars. Right, if people want to smoke, like, no, Indians, they smoke pipes, don't they? You know, yeah, look. Here's my Tokatron. Look, there's my Indian pipe. Right. You know, I have got a separate one for if I ever did tobacco, you know what I mean? Like, I have got a pipe that I use specifically if I ever had to smoke tobacco, you know, in desperate times and that, right? And you know the Indians, they smoke pipes, don't they, right? Cigars. Cigars are for men, aren't they, right? Now, in French, you know, in the language of French, anything with E-double-T-E at the end of it, it's associated with a woman, isn't it? Or a female, right? Or like a major. In military, a major is a man, right? What's a majorette? A majorette is one of them females, you know, they'd swirl the flipping sticks and that when they do the, you know, they're called majorettes, aren't they, right? Cigar is for men, right? So what's for women? What's meant for women? What are the ladies or the women meant to smoke? If they insist on smoking, if they continue to smoke, a cigarette. Right? Wow. What, Julie spelled it like sugarette? Cougar. What's a cigarette? Right. A cigar for women? Right. Do you understand my arguments? Right. Men should not be smoking cigarettes. Does that make sense? Because it's got E-double-T-E on the end. Et. If anything with et at the end is associated with females, isn't it? Vegetable zucchini is called courgette. So it's intended for women. I just call it a smoke. Just don't say fag, Ave, you know what I mean? Just don't say fag. We know what that leads to. There's no law against smoking and that, you know what I'm saying? Do you understand that? Like, it's a personal thing, it's very addictive. Trust me, I've done it myself. What are you like? What are you like? I've smoked myself. It's not an alien thing, right? It's not an alien thing to me. Like, my complaint is mainly about the way people, you know, when lads come here and they say to me, they say, can I have a smoke? Can I have a smoke? Can I smoke in here, Bruce? And I'll be like, look, man, I'll get a bong out for you. I'll get a pipe. You can smoke weed in the pipe or the bong. But they still insist on mixing it with tobacco and making it like a you know, what they call a spliff. You know what I mean? And I don't understand because, listen, right. All right, here's my question, right. Why do you think spliffs or joints were invented in the first place? Why does a spliff even exist on this planet? Why do people, where did it come from and why, right? You know, we all know cigarettes, we're just used to putting tobacco in them, aren't we? You know, I mean, our older generations, our fathers, our uncles, our cousins, you know, our older generations, they've smoked cigarettes for years, haven't they, right? They should be smoking cigars if the men, of course, you know, cigars for the men and cigarettes for the women, right? Well, what is a spliff? What is a joint? What's joint? Joint means like a combination of two things, doesn't it? Right. A joint is when you combine two things, isn't it? Like, you know, joint bank accounts or whatever. So a joint. Hey, let's have a joint. It's got to be a combination of things, hasn't it? A mixture of tobacco and weed. Right. And in some cases, some people put speed in the cigarettes, some people put cocaine in the cigarettes. It lasts longer than a pipe or a bong. Yeah, I get that, Ava. I understand that, right? But does the hit last longer? You know what I mean? Have you ever tried smoking tobacco through a pipe? And, oh man, it makes you dizzy. It's like, boom, you know what I mean? It's like quick, but it only lasts for a few seconds. It's a Jamaican thing having a big reefer, right? Isn't it, right? It's like a five Skinner, right? Okay. Now, do you want me to answer the question now? Why do you think spliffs exist? Where it comes from? The actual. I mean, come on, like say the earliest people, the Afghanis, the people like that, right? When they were like inventing cannabis and they were inventing this, you know, proper decent smoke, they would use a pipe. In some cases, right? I've actually heard it said that some people in certain countries, they put the cannabis in the hands, right? They put it actually in the hands there like that, light it, right? They light the cannabis in the hands and they go, do you know what I mean, right? And because they've been doing it for years, right? They've got skin on the hands, it's like fireproof. Do you understand? They don't even need a pipe or a ciggy or anything, right? Guinness Book of Records what's the biggest spliff? Exactly what is the biggest spliff? Who knows, man? It was so big, right? You had to go into space to light it. You lie on your back and hold the ciggy, right? And the top of it, they had to use a space shuttle to light it. Starch the skins. Right, I'll answer the question, right? Anyway, I'll tell you why, right? This is why spliffs exist, right, guys? Okay? Here's why spliffs or joints exist, right? So you can smoke them in public and people think it's just a cigarette. Does that make sense? You know, because everything's illegal, you know, because everything's against the law in America, in England, in a lot of countries on this earth, right? If you want to smoke some weed in the street, right? Now, let's just put it this way, right? If I go into the street, right, I walk on a street corner and there's like people walking past in all directions and I suddenly go, and loads of smoke comes out of my mouth. Everyone's going to look and point at me and go, look at him, what's he doing? He's got a pipe in his hand. Look, police, everyone, look, he's got a pipe. Right. Whereas if I've got a spliff, I can at least make it look like I'm smoking a cigarette, can't I? I can just go, you know, and you're supposed to pretend that it's a cigarette. That's the only logical reason that exists on planet Earth for anyone to ever smoke a spliff is if you're in public and you don't want anyone to know you're smoking illegal drugs. Okay, that's it, like, you know, because tobacco's not illegal, right? I just googled world's biggest spliff. Hold on, folks, I've got some beer. Anyone else drinking with us tonight? Anyone else having a bevy? Who's in the house tonight having a bevy? I'm not pissed on it, you know, guys. This is all I've drank so far, look. You know, I've finished this off, right? There's plenty more where that came from. I feel in good spirits tonight because I'm having a bevy, you know what I mean? I've sussed out everything. I've worked it all out, man, right? I've got me medicine and everything. I've got me tablets for me ulcer and everything, right? Bruce recommends, look. Can we read it? Look, can we read it? Bruce, sponsored by Om. What's it called? Om. I can never pronounce this word, man. Omeprazole or something. Omeprazole. These are ulcers. Have a look, it's hilarious. I'll check it out, Jules, I will. I'll have to look. I might do it later. I might actually do it on camera, right? You know, while I'm on, like. I've just got a few other things to say, right? Okay, so do you understand what I'm saying, right? Now, if a spliff, right? If a spliff has been designed, or a joint, people trying to look cool with them, but they look ridiculous. One fella wearing a flat cap. Apart from the spell, that would make sense. I'm on the vodka being long week at work, getting drunk here in Rock. Go ahead. Up Eliar, Eva, up Eliar. Vikings, whee. Get in there. Come on, let's eat, drink, and be merry. Right. Okay. Eat, drink, and be merry. Right. So, here's my question, right? If spliffs and joints have been designed so that, you know, it's a secret thing, you know, if you're in the street and you're standing on a street corner, you don't want anyone to know you're smoking illegal drugs, right? So obviously you make it look like a cigarette, right? Of course, man, right? Great idea, I get that, like, I get it. If I wanted to smoke weed in the street, right, I'd get into, well, I wouldn't put any tobacco in though, I'd just put loads of weed in it, you know what I mean? I'll just smoke my spliffs neat, what they call neat, right? Right. Now, here's my question. If spliffs are designed so you can smoke in secret in the street and all that, you know, so like coppers don't see it or people, you know you're smoking drugs, right? Why is it when people come here, like, they come here and they're into smoking spliffs, why is it when I say to them, look, you're in me pad, there's a bong there, there's a pipe there, you can get stoned, I'm not trying to stop you getting stoned or whatever, smoke a bong, smoke a pipe, whatever. Why did they say no and still make a spliff anyway, even though they don't have to keep it a secret? Is that a good question, guys? Is that a good question? Why bother smoking a spliff, even if you're in privacy and no one's watching you, like, and you're not in the street or nothing? What's the point when you can just put it in a bong or a pipe? Or actually cook it and put it in food, which is even better still. You know, if you put it in food instead, you make a cake or some biscuits or something. By the way, Ava, you know, there's something I've been meaning to ask you for a long time, Ava. You know, everyone knows, right? Well, I know you are the ultimate cake maker. Ava, your cakes are probably the best cakes I've ever tasted on planet Earth, right? Have you ever done any hash cakes, Ava? Because, you know, you'd be like the Mr. Kipling of the hash cake world, you know. It'd be like, we all know Ava makes exceedingly good cakes. If I give you a load of weed, Ava, will you make me a cake? Best cakes ever, see? Oh, Jules, say, honestly, we're all agreed on that. I mean, I'm serious. I've tasted some amazing food in my time. I'm telling you, I've tasted some nice stuff, right? You know, various cooks and chefs and everything. But man, yeah, look, and I do brownies and quiz, right? Ava, Ava, what are you waiting for? Why aren't you on British Bake Off? You know, Best British Bake Off. What are you waiting for? Ava, you'd wipe the floor with them, I'm telling you. You make the best cakes on earth. Look, best cakes ever. Seriously? Where did you get that from, Ava? I don't even know how did you manage that one? Like, you just seem to like like magic to these amazing cakes. Every one of us were all like what's that to say? Get Prue leaf left mixed mashed up. Yeah, you know the Mr. Kipling adverts used to go, because Mr. Kipling makes exceedingly good cakes. Man, Ava, you'd wipe the floor with Mr. Kipling. I don't want to embarrass any of... You know it, don't you? You know it. You actually know how good them cakes are. Man. Here's a toast to Ava's cakes. The best cakes ever. That includes school dinners and sayers and everything. Listen, everyone, anyone watching this channel now, watching this, like, you need good cakes, contact our Ava. She'll sort you out, man. Oh, that's it. Hey, Ava, you wiped the floor with everyone with that one, I'm telling you. Unbelievable talent. What do we call it? Culinary. Is the word culinary? Culinary talent. I always remember everyone in our house, my dad, everyone, you know, whenever when you brought them cakes and everyone tried them, I always remember my dad in the front room. They're flipping marvellous, them. Everyone said it, man. So if I send you like an ounce of weed, and I hope you're donuts. Right, I'm over. Look, man. Look. Listen. Go ahead. Go ahead. Police has just launched the ship. Roller coaster ride has just launched the ship. Okay. We're on to my second part of the speech, right? How long has passed, man? I'm already an hour and 18 minutes in. I did think to myself, this is going to be a long one. Even the ones that turned out wrong was nice. I can imagine. Man, Ava, you just can't make a bad cake, can you? It's impossible. You just can't do it. When you were in school, right, and you did your cookery lessons, was you top of the class? What did the teachers say? Were the teachers going, no, you can't take them home, we want them. Everyone fighting over Ava's cakes, man. When you brought a cake to ours one day, right, she brought a cake to ours and we cut it up into pieces because there was a few of us and that, like, or whatever, and I was thinking, that cake is too small, you know, there's got to be, we need more. We need more. Man, even cakes with you don't need... Look, man, you know when you make cakes and you put like fresh cream in and everything, or expensive like no, I was crap in school. Wow, that's crazy. That is crazy. That's amazing. Nah, I can't believe that. I thought you were in school and you were making them. Alright, just pouring a drink here, right? I'm in a good mood tonight. I'm actually feeling good, right? Okay, I want to get on to the second part, right, of my speech. Sort of like these little... I'm trying to do two things at the same time here, right? I'm trying to silence my critics. You know, people who accuse me of being born on the 6th when I'm born on the 4th and that kind of stuff. And I'm also trying to explain myself, right? No, I was excluded. What was it? No, when excluded. Oh yeah, excluded. Is that another word for expelled? You were expelled from school. Excluded. Move to Amsterdam, Avery. You know, if you had a shop in Amsterdam selling cakes, you'd be a multi-millionaire-ess, I'm telling you, within a week. Multi-millionaire-ess. If they legalise weed in this country, do you know what I mean? Ava's cakes. Oh, man. If anyone's watching, we're not just saying this, right? You know, we're not just saying this. We're telling the truth. This is like, I mean, I've tried every cake on this earth, you know what I mean? I haven't tried anything as good as that, like. Ava's cakes. Amazing. By the way, while we're on the subject of cakes, you want me to show you one of my paintings? I don't know if anyone's familiar with it, like, you know, you might have seen me unidentified flying chocolate eclair. You know, there's some... I've got some pictures on... Yeah, I'll go and get it, right. You know, for anyone who hasn't seen this before, right, okay, speaking of cakes, right, guys, I'm just going to get me drawing pad, you know, me artist's drawing pad. I'll show you this picture. It's a painting, right, you know, like a painting. I should be a millionaire because of this painting. You know, they all had putters. They all had potting, that's why they were nice. I wish, Ava, you know what I mean? They didn't have any pots in them, did they? That's what's amazing about them. There was no pots in them. They were just like, you know what was weird about them, right? They weren't even like fresh cream. You know when you have fresh cream and stuff like that and you go, whoa, this is like proper fresh cream and all that. Ava makes cakes with like ordinary cream, you know, just bog standard cream or jam or something like. It's the sponge, isn't it? It's the actual cake. It's like, what? Where's this cake come from? Right, I'm just going to get my drawing pad, right. Right. We've got a couple of hours tonight. They all had pot in them. I wish. Gets the... yeah, there you go. See? Look what Julie's just put there, right? Has Julie got... have you got ESP or what? Like, Bruce gets the flying cherry bakewell. All about the sponge. It's true, isn't it? See? It's all about the sponge. No icing, no cream, no jam required. So you could do like, though, just sponge cakes, couldn't you? And it'd just still be mind blown, wouldn't he? Yeah, look, Julie's got... she's on to me, look, isn't she? Julie's on to me, right? Look, me artist drawing pad, right, guys? Julie's just said it, right? What do you think of this, guys, for a work of art? The unidentified flying cherry bakewell. Imagine the art world. Do you know, imagine if I was famous. Sponge stoners, what's that? Sponge. Hey. Come on. Unidentified flying cherry bakewell, this is called, right? Now, I wanted to, you know, in the world of art, right, if you check out, they call them hyper-realists. You ever heard of the movements, the art movements? Your nice art, want to make some bakewells now? Go ahead. Look at the silver bit there, see, it's like actually shiny. All this tin foil. It actually... this picture, you know, right? The idea of this, man, I can't really... does anyone got a clue why anyone would want to paint such a picture, right? I sat down for months doing this, right? Unidentified flying cherry Bakewell. Come on, man. Where does that come from? That's one of my originals, right? It's not for sale, by the way. It's not. This picture is actually, you know the way you have private owners, right? This is privately owned by a woman who lives in Holland. A chick who used to talk to me. She lives in Holland. She's the official owner of this painting, right? It's not for sale. It can't be bought. It's officially owned by someone in Holland. What a crazy thought. It's like a Rembrandt or something, do you know what I mean? More valuable than a Rembrandt. Come on. More valuable than a Rembrandt. Right. Can't beat a Bakewell and a nice cup of sweet tea. See, we've got another picture there. See what the shit. Oh yeah, there's another one, right. Here's another one of me pictures, right. Don't laugh. No, it's crazy, isn't it? Alright, put it away, man. Bruce, before you go any further, you don't want people taking it, you know. Don't embarrass your family, Bruce. They're all watching. Don't embarrass them. Like, shame. Bringing shame on the family, like, with really bad, terrible artwork. Why bother, man? Why bother, like? Okay, anyway, back to story number 2, right? Want to see more art? Okay, oh, man. No, let's see. You want to see more art? Alright. Whatever's in this picture, right? Let's have a look. Art is my middle name, right? This is really good. It's Bidston Hill Windmill. on like a Bidston Hill Windmill, it's called. On the horizon, like. What do you think of that? Shit. What a piece of shit. But Mr. Kipling, though, because if you get a cheap rip-off Bakewell, the icing is crap and too soft and can hurt your teeth. Exactly. The quality's, it's lackluster quality, isn't it? Yeah, here's another work of art. Are you ready for this one? Right. You see, that's a brain, by the way. Oh, look. That's a brain there, right? I'll do a close-up. See a close-up, right? You see the brain? See the brain? Right, and then you think of the wires, right? You know, the backbone or whatever. The spinal column. And there's a plug socket. And coming from the wrist, you know, coming from the veins in the wrist, there's a plug. Basically, I'm saying that the brain provides all the electricity. We can't move. Ava said, they are really good. Imagine Bob Ross painting these. Who's Bob Ross? I know I sound a bit... Who's Bob Ross? I don't know. Well, you see the electricity, see the plug, right? I'm basically saying without the brain, there's no electricity, is there? Bruce did some of my art homework at school. Yeah, I used to do Julie's artwork sometimes in school for homework. But you see the plug socket, saying none of them fingers are going to move without the brain, are they? You know, that hand is useless without the brain, isn't it? Difference, isn't it? That's it. Anyone feeling electrified looking at that by now? Hey, let's all, come on, give a hand for Bruce, come on. Yeah, that's amazing, Bruce, Julie says. Nothing else works without the brain, right? Let's all give a hand for Bruce, if you pardon the pun. For such an original work of art. If anyone wants this picture, I'll post it to you, right? Nothing else works without the brain. Okay. You know when this was painted? This was drawn about, it says, the 10th of the 4th, 2011. This drawing is already 9 years old. Can you believe it? 9 years old. What else have we got? Oh yeah, here's an interesting one. What about this one, guys? I'll let yous decide. Right, I'll let yous decide what this picture is, right? What do you think that is? I'm gonna fall asleep. I'm boring myself to death here, to be honest. Like, I'll try and hold it up close, cause my mic stands in the way. Like, you know, this is a sketch. This is a sketch. Boobs. What do you like, boobs? Who said boobs? Julie said boobs. Are you a lesbian, Jules? You've got a dirty mind. Boobs. I'm only, are you a lesbian? Look. It's a stone circle. Stonehenge, yeah? Right? Stonehenge. It's on the moon. It's on the moon. Can't you see that? It's on the moon. It's a stone circle on the moon. Some type of shrine. Or sorry, some type of stone. It's on the moon. Some type of henge. There you go. Moonhenge. There you go. Spot on. See, if this is only a drawing, remember, if this was painted, you'd know it was on the moon, you know what I mean? Very thought-provoking, innit, guys? That's one of my ideas, you know, for a painting. Like, let's see what we got. What else have we got? Oh yeah. This is the one that I've done a video about on YouTube. There's a video about this picture. You can see a time lapse. There you go. There's the original. Look, here you go. You can see a time lapse of this picture being drawn on my channel, if anyone's interested. Get laminated, Bruce. Here's right. See the scorpion there? Hold it back, you get the big picture. It's not finished yet. It's called Transparency and Blackness. Trying to be a smart arse there, aren't I? Yeah. Oh man. Too many pictures. Not enough time. Let's have a look. Got another one here, man. Here we go. Here's another one. Here's another one for you. Okay. They see the shadow of the ball is moving. They're better than Take Heart. I hope so. Anyone compares me to Tony Hart. Okay. Alright, I'll put closing the pad. That's all that's in there, like. There's not much in the pad. I've got loads of pictures, like drawings and stuff. Right. So let's get on to the next part of the speech, right? I'm still going here, right? It's a vagina. A vagina. Oh. One day, maybe one day. Alright. Right, now, the second part of my speech, right? Earlier on, I spoke about me having a box of matches set on fire, right? In me room as a child, right? Man, I've got so many things written down here I want to talk about, like, and obviously, I thought I'd be talking for ages, like, and you know, I thought I'd get through this dead quick. And I can't. It's like, what time are we on, by the way? Let's have a look. 22:17. It's only just gone 10 o'clock. It's only early, isn't it? Friday nights. Let's keep going, Bruce. Let's keep going. Okay. Here's my second point, right? One of the things that happened to me that didn't happen to me siblings, right? To me sisters or my brother, right? I had the mumps when I was a child, right? You know, the mumps, the illness, the mumps. And I'll be honest with you guys, right? Honestly, right? I know some people might say this and they don't actually mean it. And I actually mean it. I'm supposed to be a dad. I'm supposed to be a father. I'm supposed to have a child. And I don't believe he's mine anyway. Like, it doesn't really matter. That's irrelevant, right? That's not the point. But I've never wanted children, right, folks? You know the way some guys have got this obsession with having children, you know what I mean? They actually meet women with the sole intention of having children, right? And I've never been interested in that, right? I'll be honest. I'll be totally frank. I just want to get me rocks off, do you know what I mean? And hopefully satisfy the woman. And that's all there is to it, right? But I've never thought in my head, I want a woman to give me children. I think it's kind of insulting, you know what I mean? I don't know how you ladies would feel. You know, if a man just wants you just to have children, wouldn't you feel insulted by that? Wouldn't you think like, excuse me, what's that all about? Do you know what I mean? If you get caught pregnant and all that kind of stuff, or it just happens naturally, right? That's a different matter, right? But if you thought if you thought a dude was only interested in you to have children, would you be pissed off about it? You know what I mean? Would you feel insulted? I know if I was a chick, I'd be pissed off, and you know what I mean? I'd be like, excuse me, you don't want to know me, like, you just want to, like, you want to be like the Waltons or something. I'd take it as an insult, do you know what I mean? Right. But I always remember when I had the mumps as a child, right, and it was bad, you know what I mean? I was like this. Right. And I always remember my mum choking with laughter. I always remember my mum, right? I was a little boy, basically. I was a little boy with mumps, right? And I always remember my mum saying to me, right? She goes, you might not be able to have kids when you're older, you know, Bruce, because of this. And in my head, even as a child, I was like, you know, like fireworks going off and like, because I was thinking, you mean I never have to have kids in my life? After watching me Owlman, kind of, you know, kind of like a bit pissed off about life. Getting on with it, enjoying everything, you know, but like, right. And I don't know, I haven't had myself tested, I haven't even got a clue, right? But I might have been, like, screwed over because I had the mumps, you know what I mean? Right. Now, this is the weird part, right? I definitely know there's a God because of that. Does that make sense to anyone? Like, surely God gives us what we ask for. Do you understand? To me personally, right? To me personally, it's a dream come true if that was true, right? But you know what does me head in? Like, all the times I used condoms, all the times the chicks were on the pill and all that stuff, it was all for nothing. It wasn't necessary. Right. And most men, they just want kids, don't they? I don't get it. Like, I really do not understand it, right? But, you know, when I was in the family circumstance and I thought I was a dad and all that kind of stuff, I got on with it. I enjoyed it, you know what I mean? I actually, you know, I wasn't going out having affairs or nothing like that. I was a father for like, should we say 5, 6, 7 years roughly. That was basically, I had to be a dad, you know what I mean? Because I thought, you know the way it is. You think you've got a chick pregnant, you got to honour your obligations, you know what I mean? You got to take your responsibilities. But after, you know, I didn't even think once, all that time, during that time I was supposed to be a dad, I didn't once think in my head, I had the mumps. Do you know what I mean? Right. But when my mum told me that I might not be able to have children, I wanted to do somersaults. I wanted to throw a party. You know what I mean? I wanted to invite all my friends around. And say, oh my word, that'll be a dream come true. Because to me personally, you know what I mean? One man's heaven is another man's hell, isn't it? You know what I mean? I did not want to be a dad, like. Well, you know, I gotta go, lads and lasses. Great banter. Catch you next time. All right, Ian. See you soon, bro. Okay, right, so strangely enough, I always wondered why I got the mumps and no one else got it. I mean, the mumps. You know, how many people does anyone know who had the mumps? But yeah, my mum telling me that, she's like, you're gonna have the, you might not be able to have children when you're older, you know, Bruce. And I was like, man, I felt like I was being just, I felt like I just won the Olympics or something, do you know what I mean? Privately, in thought waves and that, like. Right, so that's another crazy factor, isn't it? I'm still here, Julie's still here. Everyone's still here. It's Friday, isn't it? It is Friday, isn't it? Yeah. Alright, let's just check. Check it. Yeah, it's Friday. So it's a late night, isn't it? Right. So that's another interesting thing. Do you know, see, I'm trying to share what does the mumps actually do to you? Well, it makes you feel ill, right? You feel feverish and all that, right? But the main symptom, right? The main symptom is your cheeks go like, you know what I mean? Have you ever seen the way a hamster stores food in the mouth? That's what the mumps makes a man looks like. It makes your cheeks like kind of stick out like a hamster with food in the mouth. That's what it looks like. It's like this weird. I don't know what to say. Like, I don't know what to call it. Like protrusion from the cheeks. I don't know. It's like, yeah, I'll try and do it now. You've got like huge, like my cheeks then. No, they're like, it's like like an abscess or something, right? It looks like an abscess actually, you know what I mean? When you have an abscess in the tooth. Right, it's like huge lumps on either side. With me, one side was bigger than the other, so it was sort of like this, right? It was sort of like... it's like an imbalance, you know what I mean? Right, but the thing, the mumps thing, I don't know. I still haven't had I don't even know. I've never had myself tested. You know why I've never had myself tested? Because fear. I'm in fear of being told that I can have children. Do you know what I mean? I'd hate to hear the doctor say that. I don't want to spoil my illusion from that day when my mum said that to me, right? I don't want to ruin it, like. So I've never had myself checked, right? And you know the way people question me and they go, some people have said it to me loads of times, Stephen's definitely not yours, Bruce, you know what I mean, right? And they say, like, why don't you, like, write to Jerry Springer, what's it called, Jeremy Kyle or something, like, and go on Jeremy Kyle and that, like, and I said, I said, they'd probably lie to me. Like, if I went on Jeremy Kyle with Stephen, with Stephen, if I went on Jeremy Kyle with Stephen, they'd probably lie to me, like, wouldn't they? And say, like, no, he is your child. Because I don't think it's possible, you know what I mean? I don't think it's possible, like. But if I've had mumps, that backs me up big time, doesn't it? You know what I mean? As far as I know, like, to my knowledge, when people get mumps, it makes them sterile. Like, it's like it's like a gift from God to me. That, like, for me personally, you know what I mean? People who are family man oriented, it's great for them, isn't it? It works for them. It was like, when I was living in the family circumstance, I couldn't wait to escape from it. I was like, what's his name? Forrest Gump. You know what I mean? I haven't stopped running since, have I, guys? You know what I mean? I've been running away from that nightmare ever since, you know what I mean? But even if you don't mean, even if you can, but even if you can, don't mean you are a father now. Worth a test to finally know. Nah, I can't do that. Like, couldn't do it. Like, I'm 55, baby. You know what I mean? I'll be like 60 in 4 years. I'll be 56 this year. I'll be 60 in 4 years' time. I don't see the point. You know what I mean? I'm kind of like, phew, you know what I mean? Run as fast as Forrest Gump, man. You know the way Forrest Gump runs and he doesn't stop? That's what fatherhood did to me, like. I haven't stopped running. I love being on my own. I love being a bachelor. I love being able to do what I want. Oh, it's crazy. It's weird. But having the mumps might back me up big time, mightn't it? I don't know. Which I think it's interesting anyway. Yeah, man. I thought, I bought these 2 bottles in, like. I thought I bought these tonight, like, I bought them yesterday actually. I'm amazed they lasted so long. And I thought, if you can, Jeremy Kyle. Imagine me and Stephen on Jeremy Kyle. Wouldn't it be funny? I wish I had done it now, like. Okay, so that's the second point I wanted to make. See, I'm putting these things on, right? Some people analyse my channel because they want to know what I'm up to, and what I'm saying and that, like. So for comedy, for a laugh, I'm saying everything, you know what I mean? I want everyone to know everything about me, like, so that, like, if they've got any doubts, they think, whoa, Bruce has got a bit of an argument there, hasn't he? All right, now, what's the next point on me agenda, right? Okay, so I'm developing through life, and I know that, like, maybe I don't want any kids and all that kind of stuff, right? And my dad lit a box of matches in my hospital room when I was a baby, right? If you've missed it, Ava, you know what I said earlier about my dad lighting a box of matches by accident. I don't know if you were watching when I spoke about it, but you can watch the speech from the beginning, can't you, or the stream and that, right? I was this sad kid where the box of matches went on fire in my room as a child. It's just not. It's been terrible for me. I've been running away from that dragon ever since, right? I've been running from that. I've been literally running away from a dragon in my room when I was a baby, right? Then I've been running away from fatherhood, right? You never seen that bit yet? Well, you can watch it back tomorrow or whatever, and I talk about it where my old man accidentally set a box of matches on fire when I was a newborn baby in the hospital. It's a little known fact about me, you see, Ava, right? My mum told me this, you see, and it was kind of like, it made sense to me. I realised why, the way things... why when my friends come here, right, when I say, you can smoke a bong, you can smoke a pipe, why do you and they still light a spliff, do you know what I mean? It's like that same dragon is still chasing me, right? And then, see, oh shit, see, Ava's like, whoa. Think about it, a newborn baby with his mum in a hospital room, right? In a hospital room. He tried to have a sly ciggy, right? And he set his box of matches on fire. Do you understand the severity? Do people understand? I mean, Wendy will actually, your mum will understand this when she watches this back as well. None of the other kids went through it, you see. John didn't have to go through that. Wendy didn't have to go. Well, your mum didn't have to go through that. Julie didn't have to go through that. I had to put up with this box of matches in my room as a baby. Do you understand? He lit the box of matches by accident. My mum went mad about it, like, you know what I mean? She was pissed off about it, but he didn't do it on purpose, right? He didn't do it on purpose, right? So, you can understand me as a teenager getting to teenage years with all this stuff going on in the background, right? And I really, when I got to, like, when I got to 16, 17-year-old, right? Now, I wasn't suicidal, none of that stuff, right, guys? I've never been suicidal, none of that business, right? But I've always had this inclination that, like, I shouldn't be here, man. Something's not right. I need to get out of this world. Do you know what I mean? Right. So from an early age, right, when it got to, like, say 14, 15, I couldn't wait to get a motorcycle, right? Right. This is the latest. This is the story. This is. I've been to the TT in the Isle of Man, right, and I can't talk about riding a motorcycle because of this. Do you know what I mean, right? Now here's the story, and it actually involves your mum and dad, Ava. Your mum and dad are involved in this, right? Because they were going to sign for a motorcycle for me when I was a teenager, right? When I was 16. I wanted a motorcycle. I was like, you've got to realise, guys, I was born to be a biker, right? I was born to be a biker, right? And I actually, I actually persuaded your mum, right? Or Wendy, right? I persuaded her to ask your old man, Stu, right? Will he sign for a motorcycle for me? I was desperate, you know what I mean? Because I wasn't working or nothing, right? And I wanted a motorcycle, right? Like most kids when my age, you know what I mean? When we were teenagers, I'd be like Evel Knievel or something, do you know what I mean? I'd be like a proper biker, like, you know what I mean? Right. And I actually got your old man, right? Stewie, right? My brother-in-law, right? I got him. He actually said he would sign for the motorcycle for me, as guarantor. Right, you know what they call guarantor, because I wasn't working and stuff. He actually said to your mum, tell Bruce I'll do it as long as he doesn't let me down with the payments, right? Do you know what I mean? I finally got it, like, I was thinking, wow, all right? And I went to the shop in town. There was a shop in town used to sell motorbikes, right? Now, originally, I wanted a Yamaha Enduro. That would have been my first motorcycle, right, guys? I'm a Yamaha man. I've even got a Yamaha guitar there, and it's fate. You know what I mean? It's fate. I ended up with a Yamaha guitar, didn't I? Right. But I always remember going into the shop that sells motorcycles in town, right? What was it called? Mike Weston's on Grange Road West. And you know where it was? What the fuck? My dad? Yeah, your old man, Stuart. My brother-in-law, Stuart, your old man, right? He actually said he'd sign for the bike for me, right? Think about it, man. That was like winning the Olympics in itself, wasn't it? I actually convinced your old man he was going to do it, like sign guarantor for the motorcycle, right? Right. And the shop, you know what's weird about the shop? This is the craziest thing, right? This is the weirdest. Listen to what I'm saying now, right? The shop where the motorcycle was, what I was going to buy, was right opposite the hospital where I was born. Can you believe that? You know the hospital where there was cigarettes, where my dad lit a box of matches by accident? Grangemount Hospital in Grange Road West, it was called, right? Well, if you were in that hospital and you looked across the road, there used to be a motorbike shop. I think it was called Mike Weston's. I'm not sure. Any bikers out there from like the Wirral or the local area will remember it, right? Big proper motorbike showroom, right? Called Mike Weston's. I think it was Mike Weston's. I'm not sure, right? All I know is it was full of motorbikes, right? And I went in that shop, right? And I looked round and there was no Yamaha Enduros, right? It's a, what they call it? A Yamaha Enduro was like a 50cc trials bike, you know what I mean? Like a sort of, it was my, you know, it was going to be the motorcycle of my dreams, you know, as a beginner, like. But they didn't have a Yamaha Enduro in the shop, right? Right opposite. Right up, I'm not kidding you, right? Imagine that's the hospital where I was born. Just there was the motorcycle shop where the motorcycle was that I was going to buy, right? And I went in there, right? And any people who are watching, I mean, I've got one of my friends in Birkenhead, Jason, if you're watching, Jason, if you're watching, you know your motorcycles, right? Well, in this motorcycle shop, the only bike that I could find that I really wanted, because they didn't have a Yamaha Enduro, right, 50cc, was this Honda. It was called a Honda MT50 or a Honda MT5, right? And they had a similar. This is how sad I am. The way I've remembered all this, it's mental, right? But anyway, there was a Honda MT50, right, which meant Honda MT meant the T stood for trials, right? MT. T for trials. You know, a trials bike is like a scrambler, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like, wow, you go up the hills and everything, like, right? But if you chose the other type of bike as well, which would have been, you know, like instead of a crosser or a scrambler, you've got your kind of superbike realm, haven't you? You know what I mean, right? So the other bike in the range was the Honda MS50, which meant superbike, not trials, right? And the MT50 was like a trials bike. If you check on YouTube, there's people got like vintage videos of these bikes, man, and they're like gold, you know what I mean? But the MT50 was the one I wanted, because it was there in front of me in the shop, you know what I mean? I was like, they haven't got the Yamaha, the Honda will do, you know what I mean, right? And the MS50 was if you were into super bikes, you know, like TT style. And it was kind of a 50cc bike, but it looked like a TT bike, do you know what I mean? It was all sort of done up to look like a speed bike. S for super bike, you know what I mean? And I wasn't into that kind of style. I wanted the trials bike, right? So I chose the bike and everything, right? I went up to the dude at the counter. He gave me the leaflet and everything, right? And you know, man, right, David, right? You know, my brother, I found the bike I wanted, the Honda MT50, had my heart set on it, everything, right? And I went up to the counter, got the booklet and all that stuff. And anyway, I got it sorted. I was going to get it signed for in a couple of days or a couple of weeks or whatever it was, right? You know what I mean? In the future, all I know is I could set my heart, I was going to get that motorcycle so I could ride away from them matches in the hospital, you know what I mean? The burning matches. Think about it, man, where the motorcycle was. It was opposite, over the road from the hospital where I was born, right? It's fate, isn't it? It was fate. It had my name on it. That motorcycle had my name on it. It was like, come on, Bruce, let's go. Right? You know, Forrest Gump, ready to go, like. Chose the bike, everything sorted. Got it all organised. You know, man, you know what I mean? I had a guarantor, was going to sign for it, everything, right? And do you know what? For the weeks afterwards, I was excited. You know, hi guys, what's Bruno chatting shit about? You know me, Wendy. If I don't chat shit, it ain't worth living. Right, anyway. Wendy, you're in on this. You're in on this one because you and Stewie were going to get me a motorbike. Do you remember? You were going to actually sign for a motorcycle for me when I was a teenager. Right. Right, the shop where the motorcycle was over the road from where I was born. Right, in Grange Mount. Called Grange Road. Grange Road West. Yeah, see, Wendy straight away. Oh yeah, for fuck's sake. God love my dad. Hard shell on outside, but good goo heart of gold. Is right. People don't never judge a book by the cover, you know, Ava. That's what I say. Never judge a book by the cover. But anyway, I won your dad over, didn't I? I actually twisted his arm. He was prepared to sign for that bike for me, right? Think about it, I'm a teenager, I can't wait to go. I would have been like a Hell's Angel now or something like that. If well, I don't know. Like, I don't. Right. Hi, mummy. But anyway, it was all ready. In a couple of weeks' time, I was going to own a motorcycle, and it would have changed my life, guys. Right? You know what I'm saying? It would have changed my life. It was fate. It was meant to happen, right? And anyway, you know the way my mum used to talk to gypsies on the doorstep. The gypsies knock on the door and they sell you little charms and things like that, right? He likes you. He's quite fussy. Exactly. Cool. I mean, I know that, Wendy, you know what I mean? I actually know. One knows, you know what I mean? One knows. But this gypsy knocks on the door, right? And my mum opens the door and she's talking to this gypsy. You know the way they waffle on the doorstep, the gypsies? She was like a middle-aged woman gypsy, right? And she said to me mum, she was telling her fortune and all that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? You know the way my mum used to sort of, she'd buy the little, the little charms and things off them and stuff like that, wouldn't she? We never turned the gypsy away, let's put it that way. In our house, we never turned the gypsy away when he knocked on the door, right? And I'm upstairs, right? I'm upstairs doing my own thing, minding my own business, right? And I could hear my mum talking to the gypsy on the doorstep, right? And she was quite loud, you know what I mean? She was going, oh, no. She was talking about things in the future and all that kind of stuff, right? And it sounded like a load of poppycock what she was talking about, right? Most of it was a load of poppycock, right? But anyway, all of a sudden, she says to me mum, your son's thinking of getting a motorcycle, isn't he? And my mum goes, well, it's funny you should say that. Because he is, yeah. He's actually getting a motorcycle in a couple of weeks. Weather permitting, I was going to get that bike, nothing was going to stop me, was it? You know what I mean? The gypsy says to me mum, I was listening, I actually heard her say it right. The gypsy says to me mum, don't let him get it. He's going to kill himself. Right, hold on. Yeah, Stu paid the gypsy to say, don't buy that. Good one, Wendy. There's a possibility. No, he wouldn't have done that, would he? He wouldn't have done it like... But anyway, the gypsy said to me mum, right? This was her words, man. She didn't just say, ooh, be a bit careful and all that, you know what I mean? She said, don't let him get that motorbike. It's going to kill him. He's going to die if he rides a motorcycle, right? And straight away, my mum went, okay. And then the gypsy got off and whatever, like, she closed the front door. I went downstairs. I was like, you don't believe what she's saying there, do you, mum? You're not going to take that seriously, are you? And my mum went straight to the phone or whatever. She contacted my sister. She contacted Wendy and said, don't let him have that motorbike. You know what I mean? Tell Stuart, don't sign for that motorbike because he's going to kill himself on a motorcycle. Right. Now, don't you think that's peculiar in the psychic sense or the metaphysical sense or the spiritual sense, right? That just over the road from where I'd like a box of matches had basically cursed my life forever. Do you know what I mean? Right. So you just nearly killed yourself on your cycle in the Isle of Man instead. Well, I've not just in the Isle of Man, Wendy, in Wales as well. Man, I've had some serious accidents on my push bicycle. I feel like a bellend, because it should be on a motorbike, shouldn't I? I feel like, oh man, it's like roller skating with Hell's Angels, isn't it? You know what I mean? I feel like a right bellend because I'm cycling instead of using the motorbike, you know what I mean? But from that moment on, that was it. You know what I mean? My motorcycle days were over because I'd never got enough money after that. I was never going to be able to raise enough money to just go out and buy a motorcycle. Do you know what I mean? It was impossible. Well, the Jippo wasn't that good. Bloody fake. No, but who knows when, right? But you know what, right? because I was running away from things in my life. I mean, I'm not being funny, I'm not being weird. I've never been suicidal or nothing like that, right? Especially in my younger years, you know what I mean? It's not the way I think, is it, right? But let's just suppose, right, folks? Let's just suppose fate. You know what fate is, right? Fate is like it's meant to be, isn't it, right? I think I was supposed to get a motorcycle. I think I was meant to get a motorcycle. And let's just say if I live dangerously, just like any other guy who owns a motorbike, it's just the way it is, isn't it? You know, it could be a TT rider or something, like whatever. It's dangerous. It's the way it is, isn't it, right? But that gypsy altered my life, altered me fate, altered everything, right? So that I've had to carry on in slow motion, putting up with all kinds of stuff that I wouldn't have had to deal with, do you know what I mean? Stephen, for one, you know what I mean? I've had all kinds of, like, what's the word? I wouldn't call it a case, but you know what I mean? I've got, like, Grangemount Hospital, where a box of matches is lit in my room when I'm a baby. Wendy's just joined us late, hasn't she? So I don't know if she knows about that. Do you know about that, Wendy? Do you know about the box of matches being set on fire in my room when I was a baby, when I'd just been born? My old man set a box of matches on fire by accident. That's how they work. They make you change paths. Wow. So really, I mean, okay. I mean, I actually feel like my life's been drawn out because of it, you see. I'm not being weird or nothing, like, it's like, I feel like it's fate. You know what I mean? I felt like I was supposed to get that motorcycle. It was meant to happen, like. But who knows? We'll never know, will we? If, you know, just supposing, right? I mean, the way I see it, right? I've heard something about Dad trying to kill you because you were blonde and blue. No, that would have been my mum tried that one, wouldn't it? Hey, do you always remember when we were kids, right? You know what was funny about my mum, right? She used to say it to us, didn't she? She actually used to say it to us, didn't she? You know, like mums keep things to themselves, don't they, right? My mum would say, and I haven't got a clue why none of yous have got dark hair or dark eyes like me. Opposite of a Nazi. Aryans. But we all have moments in life where we think our life has changed paths because of one incident that has happened. This is the funny thing though, the incident didn't happen, did it? I didn't actually get the motorbike. Do you know what I mean? I was like... She could have been right though, couldn't she? The gypsy could have been right. She could have been right. I might have killed myself because I am a bit, like, reckless, even on a bicycle, right? I don't know where to share a video. I've got a video of myself just after a crash in Wales. You've seen the one of me in the Isle of Man, haven't you? You know, but there's one of me in Wales as well where I had a serious crash. I was doing 30 miles an hour down a hill, and I basically hit a fence head on and went right over it and ended up hanging in a tree. Probably because they hear from, unfamiliar spirits. But they wouldn't have time for that, would they, when it's not like a spiritualist church, is it? They're knocking on the doors, aren't they? If you think of the gypsy knocking on everyone's doors one at a time and just looking for someone to open the door, it's a different thing, isn't it? It's a different, like, it's a different scenario, is it, than going to a spiritualist church or something. You know, have you seen the film? And I mean, have you ever seen the film Hereditary? It's like it's a horror movie. I know people might not want to watch horror movies and that, right? There's a film called Hereditary, and it's about, like, the family are, like, they're connected to a spiritualist church, you know what I mean? It's just a matter of being plugged in. Yeah. Plugged in. Wendy's saying plugged in, right? And the people who are watching who've been before, they'll just shut you all up. Yeah, already. You missed this one, Wend. Yeah, you've seen Hereditary. What do you think? What do you think, Wend? Do you think it's like... It's got some substance. It's a vile movie. It's absolutely a terrible film, isn't it? Right. But you know the fact that they're all connected to a spiritualist church, aren't they? They're all batty, nutty spiritualists, aren't they? You know what I mean? And they're occultists, really, aren't they? You know what I mean? Yeah, look, I'll just show the picture. I'll show pictures show before Wendy said plugged in, right? I can't believe you just said that. Yeah. Where is it? Where's my picture? I've got to hand it. Got to hand it to me, right? It's all about being plugged in, right? There we go. There I went. That's a brain there. That's a brain. Right. I'll just do a close up again. So you see the brain. Oh. Ooh. See that? It's a brain with a plug socket. And then look. Without the brain, the hand can't move. I'm quite psychic, but I don't use it. Exactly. But you just said that. You just said it's about being plugged in. I was just showing that picture on camera before. It's about being plugged in. Yeah, Hereditary. Oh man, it's a horrible film, isn't it? It's quite disturbing, like. But they're all batty, like, spiritualists, aren't they? You know what I mean? I always remember John telling me a story. Here's a story about John, right? You know when he first started, while he was in a relationship with Jeannie, she took John to a spiritualist church because her old man, Jeannie's dad, Jeannie's old man. Pardon me, I just got a bit of wind. Right, they were all members of a spiritualist church, right? And John went with them to this church, right? And John is not into religion as it is, like, so he's not really bothered about any of that. He's not into the Bible or anything, right? But he went to this church with, holy fuck, he showed it just before you joined. Plugged in. I mean, she used the words plugged in. Can you believe it? But anyway, John went to this spiritualist church with Jeannie, right? And he said he was trying not to laugh because they did a seance, right? And one of the members of the church, they put a red light in front of his face, a light bulb, right? Literally actually had a red light bulb in front of this guy's face, right? And he was saying he was claiming to be a dead Indian, a dead North American Indian from the past. So he had this light bulb lighting his face up red. And apparently John told me he was like going, I am heap big chief from Wild West. Like in a cowboy film, how an Indian talks. He's going like, I come to speak to your people from the Wild West. I am Indian. Right. Did it rain? And John said everyone in the church thought this guy was actually a dead Indian talking from the past, a North American Indian. And John said he was trying not to laugh, like he was realising that this guy was just like totally jog, a total fake. But they were all spiritualists, do you know what I mean? So imagine this is a red light bulb and it's on, like, and I'm going, me, big chief from Wild West, come and talk to you, make travel many moons. That was the kind of thing he was doing, right? If he was a real Indian talking through him, he would have spoken his language, wouldn't he? He would have been like, Nichu kata no wata kawata we to wata we. You know what I mean? They've been speaking like that, wouldn't they? Would have been like, me big Indian chief come many moons to speak to your spiritualist church. You know, all familiar spirits, aren't they? You know what I mean? But John said he was trying not to laugh, right? He said they all seriously thought this guy was an Indian from, like, Chief Sitting Bull or something, trying to talk to them and that. But isn't that eerily, like, hereditary, like, the circumstance? It's the same sort of setup, innit? Spiritualists, necromancers. Do you know what I mean? They call them, was it you with me when we decided to sneak that? Yeah, I was there. We legged it upstairs, didn't we? Oh man, that was eerie, wasn't it? Oh man, there's some horrible things in that house, wasn't there, really? Like, you know what I mean? Some really strange, creepy things, like. I did it on my own, right, right? You know the way we used to sneak downstairs, right? Yeah, we legged it, didn't we? We actually ran to bed. I did it on my own once, right, I did it actually on my own. Sneak downstairs, and I was sitting in the living room completely alone, right? And I remember sitting on the sofa with the light off, right? I don't know why I did it, you know what I mean? I was on my own, right? And you know the chair what my mum or dad would normally sit in? This is what I could hear coming from the chair, right? I'm not kidding, right? I'm not making this up, right? I could hear this noise, just like, when someone breathes through the nostrils going... I could hear that sound coming from one of the chairs, you know what I mean? And I shit myself and legged it upstairs. I heard someone breathing, like, haunted house, innit, man? Yeah. Erie, Indiana. Must be where it was built, isn't it? Like, there was built on something, wasn't it? Alright, man. Let's see what else we can talk about tonight, because I've been on so far. We've been 2 hours, man. I've been on for 2 hours so far, and we're still going strong, man. Your house is bad, Mum. Your house is bad. Okay, here's me latest. Okay, another subject, right? Change the subject, right? The last thing the point I was just making was a fate that I was meant to be in, like, leave the world with me on my motorcycle, wasn't I? You know what I mean? Right. Here's my next one, right? I've been speaking to my brother on the phone earlier, right? And, oh man, because he doesn't know the Bible, and he hasn't got a clue, because he's never studied the Bible, right? And I'm not being religious. This is nothing to do with being religious, right? It's like, when you've read the Bible and you've studied it, and there's all kinds of things that we see. And it's kind of like it takes a long time to study it and everything, doesn't it, right? Well, anyway, the subject matter, the communion. The communion, when Jesus shared the bread and the wine, right? Our John, right, my brother, he's the only one of us, isn't he? Like, there's me, Wendy, and Jules, right? We've all studied the scriptures, haven't we, in one form or other, right? So we've got our own innate understanding of it, right? Well, John, right, I was talking to him before on the phone, right, and this is what made me want to talk about it, because earlier he's still got this fascination for vampirism, right? Oh, man, bro. We've studied the word, haven't we? We've really got into it as much as we can, haven't we, right? We're not pretentious religious maniacs. We've just followed our noses, haven't we, right? Now, John, right, he's still got a fascination for vampirism, right? We all know that in the Bible it forbids drinking blood in the same way that it forbids murder, doesn't it, right? John may be a vampire, right? Well, Dracula head. He had the Dracula model, didn't he, on the mantelpiece? You know what I mean? On the sideboard, we had the Dracula as well as Frankenstein and everything, right? Right? Now, he's still into those things, right? He's still like, he's got this thing where he thinks there's such a thing as a good vampire and there's a bad vampire and all that kind of nonsense, you know, because all these films and movies lately kind of glorify vampirism, right? But what really done me head in earlier, I can understand that. I can understand people being narrow-minded enough to still think that vampirism is legend to the daytime. That film, see, Interviewing a Vampire, man. It's shit, isn't it? Interview with the Vampire. When I watched that film, I thought it was crap. It gave me the creeps. You know what I mean? Might have been a lot of work going into it, like trying to, you know, make us think the vampires are great and all that kind of stuff. Like, you know, like the Twilight. You know, even Batman. You know, Batman now is a guy out of the Twilight series, isn't he? You know, right. So they're trying to, obviously, they should call it Vampire Batman, shouldn't they? If, you know, the guy was a vampire in the Twilight series. Call it Vampire Batman, innit? Right. And look, that's it. Worst film ever. It's crap, isn't it? It's a crap. I mean, I'm not being insulting. I'm not being funny. It's a crap movie, isn't it? Interview with the Vampire. It's silly, isn't it, really? It's silly Billy stuff, isn't it? Silly Billy stuff. It's making us think that vampirism is cool, isn't it, right? Now, here's the bit where it gets crazy, right? I was talking to John on the phone earlier, right? And he seems to think, right, you know when Jesus said to the disciples, drink my blood. This, you know when he handed the wine to the disciples and he said, this is my blood, drink. Oh, John seems to think it's got something to do with vampires. I'll just leave a pause there, like just... He seems to think that Jesus telling the disciples that the wine is his blood, right, has something to do with vampires. I mean, is that the most silly thing on earth ever? Right, so what I thought I would do is, you know, as part of this talk, like, I'll try and, let's just see what, you know, this is my take on what the communion was all about, right? So how does he interpret the bread then? Well, exactly, he hasn't got a clue. He doesn't think of that, Wendy. He doesn't actually think about that. He's just got this thing about, like, drink my blood, this is my blood, drink my blood. And he's mixing it up for some kind of act of, like, someone sharing blood like a vampire. It's a very immature perspective, isn't it? You know what I mean? I mean, don't get me wrong, he's never studied this, so he doesn't really understand. Do you understand that? Like, I mean, understand, he doesn't understand. Right. Now, I know, right, the way I see it, right, it's a very simple thing, right? Remember, Jesus actually said, do this in remembrance of me, right? Didn't he? Before he did it, right, he said, do this in remembrance of me, right? So you know what he was saying to the disciples there, or anyone in the know? You can actually do this yourselves and practice the same ceremony, right? And it's so simple, right? It's so simple, right? He's basically, he knew he was the lamb for slaughter. He knew he's the sacrificial lamb, right? And he knew he had to be sacrificed to resurrect, didn't he, right? So in the process, he's sharing the events with the disciples, isn't he, right? So he says, he metaphysically calls the bread his body, and he hands it out and shares it out and says, eat, this is my body. And then he gives them all a swig of wine and says, drink, this is my blood, right? It's it's a metaphor, isn't it? The bread is his body and the wine is his blood. If he drank water, he could have said the same thing. If they ate, like, I don't know, a biscuit, a cake, or whatever, he'd have said the same thing. But it just so happens to be bread and wine, right? Now, the pivotal point, of the communion is simply the fact that Jesus knew he was going to be sacrificed. So he was metaphysically sharing his body and his blood out with his closest friends or the people he trusted most, right? He's saying, yous are going to get to eat me and drink me one day, you know what I mean? There's a metaphor, right? Well, you need to respect the fact that the scriptures explain it, and if you choose to believe it and preach and practice the ways of the Bible, Jesus, you understand it. Well said, Dave. Right. Now, to confuse that with vampirism is very immature, isn't it, right? It's about being a part of the Bible of Christ. The communion is symbolic of taking the new manna from heaven, the blood of Passover lamb, which is found in Jesus alone. Exactly. The sacrificial lamb, right? Now, this is the point, you see. We as individuals, right? When Jesus said, do this in remembrance of me. I think he was saying to the disciples, remember, a lot of churches practice communion. Some of them falsely and some of them real. You can go into a communal area or a communal gathering and they still practice the communion, don't they, right? As long as the person in charge is doing it in remembrance of Jesus. They're doing a similar act, aren't they? We're doing a similar act. Do you understand, right? So imagine I could sit in a room with 3 people or something and say, this is my body and this is my blood. We're all allowed to do it. We can actually do that as a kind of in remembrance, right? But we're not the originals, are we, right? No one's going to care. I mean, loads of people carry on doing communions, don't they? But it's not like in the same light, is it, right? Now, to me, the pivotal point of this, right? The whole point of what was going on in that, right? John thinks it's something to do with... He's confusing vampirism with what Jesus said, do you know what I mean? Drink my... He thinks he's saying, drink my blood. You know what I mean? Right. He's saying, metaphysically, this wine represents blood. Right. Now, to me personally, right, yes, it's remembering the sacrifice of Jesus on our behalf. Exactly. It's a representation of sacrifice, right? Not like, vampires drink each other's blood or whatever, because vampires do actually drink each other's blood and stuff, like if you got a vampire boy with a vampire girl, do you have relationships where they drink each other's blood? And they must, in their stupid little tiny minds, compare it to the communion, couldn't they? You know what I mean? Could be white wine. That's a good point, Dave. It could be white wine, it could be anything, couldn't it? Right. Do you want me to tell you what I thought? The whole point of what the communion was saying, right? And as well as that, right? What people miss, right? Here's the point that I think was missed. Because when I read these things, I really went over it like a fine tooth comb kind of thing, right? The main point is, remember when Jesus says to the disciples, right? He must have whispered, he must have said it secretly, mustn't he, right? He couldn't have said it out aloud. Jesus couldn't have said it out aloud. The one who betrays me is the one who dips his bread in the wine. Would he? He wouldn't have said that openly, would he? He wouldn't have said so everyone could... Judas obviously couldn't hear him say that, could he? He wouldn't have said that out aloud, would he? He wouldn't have said, the one who's going to betray me is the one who dips his bread in the wine, right? Do you understand the pivotal point of that being left in the scripture or for us to read for ourselves, right? Right. Now, the point that Jesus was making there was, right, out of all the disciples, if you read it carefully, right? Most of us, when we do communion, if we've ever done a communion, right, we eat the bread, right, and we sip the wine, don't we? Or you can do it the other way around, right? You could sip the wine. Peter would have, because he was the loud clumsy one. Well, he was the one with the most front, wasn't he, right? Peter would have, right? But listen, right, the point I'm making is, when Jesus himself, right, all the other disciples, right, if you read it carefully, right, all the disciples ate the piece of bread and sipped the wine separately, if you know what I mean, right? Only Jesus himself, right, sort of, he dipped the bread in the wine and then ate it. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't do it separately, he didn't do a sip and then, you know, like a bite and a sip. He dipped his bread in the wine himself, Jesus himself. He told all the other disciples, eat the bread and drink the wine, didn't he, right? But Judas being the person that he spoke about, and he said he's the one that's going to, like, he's the guy that's going around telling everyone about him and all that kind of stuff, right? The reason Judas stood out like a sore thumb compared to the other disciples, right, is because he was mimicking everything Jesus did. Do you understand? Anything, if Jesus would have gone, Judas would have gone, if Jesus would have gone, scratched his head, Judas would have gone, because he's mimicking, he's designed to jump into his spec or, you know, like make observations. He's a spy, basically, isn't he, right? Some Catholics dip their host in the wine so they don't have to put a cup in their mouth. Yeah, I understand that. Hygiene and things like that. Back in the day, back in that the original, it was the first ever communion ever happened, isn't it? Jesus invented the communion. Do you understand? And when he says, do it in remembrance of him, we have to do it in remembrance of him. If we're ever gonna think of a communion, it has to be in his name, doesn't it, right? Because the bread was stale, needed soaking in something. Could be, right? But we're missing the point. This is the point I'm making. We're missing the point, right? Only Jesus dipped his bread in the wine, right? But he told all the other disciples, not because they're a bit lost in space, they don't know what's going on. They just did they ate the bread and sipped the wine separately, you know what I mean? Right. Judas being the one who's spying on him all along, he actually mimicked Jesus, right? Jesus said to the other people in the know, he's going to dip his bread in the wine the way I do. And that's exactly what he did. He went, you know, because he's watching everything Jesus is doing and he's copying everything he's doing. Do you understand? All the other disciples aren't doing that because they're not spies. Do you understand? Whereas a spy would mimic things, wouldn't he? And try and impersonate what's going on, if you know what I mean, right? So the whole pivotal point of the communion, in my opinion, right, is there's two reasons to point out how you can perform a communion and what it's all about, right? But the second reason is to say, Judas dipped his bread in the wine, copying and mimicking Jesus, do you know what I mean? That's the whole pivotal point of it, it's just to point out that, you know, that Jesus was actually correct when he said, the one who dips his bread in the wine is the one who's the spy. Do you understand what he was saying there? That because all the other ones innocently wouldn't even think about it. They wouldn't think of mimicking the Messiah, would they? You know what I mean? Cheeky. Judas was taking the communion without blessing or thanks. He basically took without asking, it wasn't given to him by Jesus. Exactly. He was mimicking. He was only there because he was an agent. He's a secret agent, isn't he? You know. Right. I mean, the other one, the washing of the feet. Peter, you know, when you say Peter is the clumsy one or whatever, or what, you know, that kind of stuff. He shows it there, doesn't he, when when Jesus washes the disciples' feet. Peter jumps forward and says, wash my head and wash my hands too. And Jesus gives him a bollocking basically and says, you only need your feet to be washed, do you know what I mean? Because Peter jumps forward, doesn't he, and goes, wash my head and my face or whatever too, oh yeah. Smelly athlete's foot. Is Julie still here? Are you still here, Jules? Do you see me point, right? Do you see the point yeah, right. Hi, Jules, if you're here. Right. Do you see what I'm saying, right? Now, let's get back to what I'm saying earlier on. My brother, who hasn't studied any script, he's got... That's my own opinion. People don't have to agree with me. No one has to agree with me what I'm saying there, you know what I mean? That was just my own assessment when I studied it, like thinking, wow, Judas does actually dip his bread in the wine just like Jesus did, because he's mimicking him, you know what I mean? He gives himself away, copying him, right? Let's go back to our John. He was talking to me earlier on the phone, saying that, like, comparing Jesus' communion everything to vampire shit. You know what I mean? He was talking about, like, vampires drinking blood and all that kind of stuff. Totally missing the point. What the whole thing is all about in the first place, do you know what I mean? I don't know. I might sound like a bell end. People might think, you're going a bit too far there, Bruce. Why are you saying that? Like, I don't know. Julie, you still there? Jules, are you still with us? She fell asleep. What time is it? It's only nearly 20 past 11. So I've shared that, like, I'm sort of kind of like, that's my perspective, right? That's my perspective. Do you know what I mean? If a mimic, like, you know what I mean? Obviously, things are going on that, like, it's controversial. It's controversial what I'm saying, basically. All right, man. I think, well, I've got loads more written down here, right, on this. I've got a lot. Oh man, I think I'm gonna have to call it quits. I'm gonna have to get off, like, because we're approaching midnight and that, like. I've been on for 2.5 hours. I can't believe it, right? And I still haven't finished my beer. Okay. I'll leave it at that. Well, I think I'll leave it at that, right? And if you've missed, I recommend if you Ava Hall, well, I can confirm there are no vampires. Oh, I'll tell you what, Ava, there are actually vampires. They are real, but they're absolutely bellends, aren't they? I mean, man. Think about this, right? Why the, I mean, I don't want to swear, right? Why the would anyone drink blood when our bodies, our veins and our bodies are full of the stuff? Why would anyone want to drink blood, right? And I don't mean this is, I mean like drinking real blood. Why would we drink blood when we're full of blood? I mean, we're full head to toe, aren't we? If I put a cut, if I just stick a pin in my thumb there, loads of blood will come out, won't it? What's the point of drinking the stuff when our bodies are full of it? Is that a mad point? That's how pathetic vampires are. Like, that's how simpleton they are, you know what I mean? Because when you drink blood, it turns you an animal. Let's just put it this way, right? Say it was legal to drink blood, right? Say we could go into a cafe tomorrow and buy blood. We'd all start growing vampire fangs and everything because it's awakening the primeval animal in us, do you know what I mean? It awakens the hunter. We don't need it anymore. I'm a vegetarian. I'm a vegetarian. Vampire vegetarian, like, you know what I mean? Like, just like that with fangs with a leek, holding a leek, like trying to bite a leek. They do it to gain spiritual power, exactly, and immortality and things like that. Like Achilles. Achilles in history. Achilles' mother dipped him in the river of Styx to make him immortal. Do you know what I mean? That's just like vampirism, isn't it? Like Achilles in Greek history, his mother dipped him in the river Styx or something, or the river or whatever, to make him immortal. That's like a vain attempt to make someone live forever, isn't it? Which is silly, isn't it? People trying to take stuff, take stuff real. trying to make fake stuff real. Yeah, exactly. They do it to gain spiritual power. So any vampires watching, you know what I mean? Stop being silly billies. Get a bottle of ketchup or something like that. They want to live forever. But yeah, I mean, who wants to stay young? I don't want to stay young forever. I love going old. I'm actually loving it, like, you know what I mean? But that's what it's all about, isn't it? But my brother seems to have this he's confusing Jesus to a vampire. Do you know what I mean? It's mad, isn't it? Get a life. Okay, we're reaching midnight. But yeah, Wendy, if you watch it from the start, I talk about things, like, have you got over the banana thing? Is it? Good job, you lovers. You love being old. I don't mind at all, man. I'm enjoying it as long as I'm not an invalid. You know what I mean? I'm not. There's a difference between going old and being invalid, isn't there? You know what I mean? As long as we don't make ourselves invalid. You know what I mean? Invalid. We can't be invalid. Invalids. You can get vegetarian blood. It's Linda. Yeah, Julie's back. Where were you, Jules? I will catch up, but the banana took 10 years off me. That's the intention. Endorphins, Wendy. Endorphins. You know what I mean? I'll give you the fix of endorphins. A fix of endorphin. Laughter, it is like a mad... it keeps us youthful, doesn't it? It keeps us youthful. Laughter, like, we can go old, but we can still stay like children in our minds. Do you know what I mean? My battery died. Did you have to charge up? The life is the blood. Exactly. Right? You know what I mean? Real blood, you know what I mean? Plus, I ate 2 bananas the other night and dreamt of one. This just gets better and better, doesn't it? Just don't eat the banana skin. Alright. Okay, I'm going to close it down now. We're getting to 2. I'm at, wow, nearly 3 hours. I can't believe this. I did intend doing a long one tonight because I wanted to kind of clarify things. There's people watch my channel, right? It was like dreaming on LSD. Yeah, exactly. Isn't it crazy, Wend? It's crazy, isn't it? With the organic bananas, though. There's a difference, you know. Organics are better, like. Have you ever taken LSD? Alright. Okay, everyone. I'm getting off. And, yeah, nearly 3 hours stream, man. No, but I've had... Whoever give that to you, Wend, I'll sort them out, alright? Tell me who done it, Wend. Just tell me who did that to you, and I'll go and batter them for you, okay? Little bro will sort it out for you. Little bro. Little brother will sort it out. With our Julie, it's big brother, isn't it? With our Julie, it's big brother, and with Wendy, it's little brother. I'll sort them out. Just leave it with me. I'll sort it out. Okay, time to close down. And anyone who's watching, anyone who watches, who's neutral, you know, because these videos, I can't believe, you know, when I post these videos, I do actually get views, you know what I mean? We'll have like a couple of views watching while it's live. Yeah, can you work that one out? It's telling me, oh no, there's 4 viewers at the moment. So there's a mysterious viewer watching we don't know of. Yeah, I'm big in more ways than one. All right, folks. I will. I'll be on. I might be on tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe Sunday. I'm not sure. I might do a live stream. I don't know. But I've said a lot tonight. Hopefully, it might ring some bells. Hopefully, make people think about things. And I don't know. All right. I'll see you all very soon. And maybe by the time we come on the next time, we might get John on a live. Oh, it's John, yeah. John could be watching. Well said, Ava. It's a good point, that, you know. He won't tell us he's watching, will he? I think he's watched these live streams and he doesn't even tell us he's watching. Terrible, that, isn't it? You know, it's not like, John, if you're watching, it's alright, we understand. Alright, I'm getting off. Good night to everyone. Nighty night. Sweet dreams. Or Steve. Yeah, you could be right there, Wendy. That's a possibility. Stephen, the bane of my life. My Mordred. The Mordred of my life. Nice. Love these live streams, yeah. Is right. We'll be back. Might be on tomorrow. We'll see how I feel. Okay, everyone. Getting off right now. See you all soon. Nighty night. Round of applause. Okay, closing down.